Rebuild or the favorites. We here for the latest. South side or the north side. Not tuned to the greatest. Home team for the home teams. Both sides got our own rings. On the mound or the long ball. But we don't pull the wrong strings. Yeah. It's that time of the year now. Wrigley or Gantes or the whole league that we hear now. New show with a new mood. Discussions and interviews. Trade rumors that might be. This is Pinwheels and Knife. Yeah.
All right. In 3, 2, 1. What's going on, everybody? It is Thursday, July 14th, and you have found the Pinwheels and Ivy podcast. I am your host, Matt Zawoski, a.k.a. Southside Zoe, a.k.a. Father Zoe. And with me, as always, Mr. Aldo Soto.
We can call like the Pinwheels and Ivy podcast, a.k.a. like the #1 Las Vegas baseball podcast team.
And breaking news before I keep going, Eloy Jimenez just came up limping on a fucking routine catch. Anyways.
Positive vibes, though. Positive vibes.
Not a hot start to the show. And the good Reverend K. Fids.
Yeah, this is I'm pretty excited for tonight's episode.
Hot start.
Sorry,
it's a hot
dude.
start. We got some bad mojo, but no, it's another week, and I'm really super stoked for tonight's episode. So we're gonna have a good time, and there's going to be some Sox talk, but might not be the Sox talk that you think.
And as always, the new guy, NASCAR Mitch. What's up, Mitch?
Well, I was doing good. I was excited. We got a guest and everything. You just killed the vibe with the Eloy news.
I know.
So.
I looked up, dude, and I saw the pink shoes fucking skipping across the outfield. Anyways, if you're watching us live, you'll notice the fifth box in our little Brady Bunch squares thing we got going on tonight. We got the 5th round pick from the 2021 MLB draft for the White Sox. Right-handed pitcher, Tanner McDougal. Tanner, what's going on, buddy?
Nothing much. Just down in Arizona, getting the rehab grind going.
And you might be asking yourself, why the fuck is this guy in his car? It's because he's in an apartment down in Arizona with some other prospects. And did I hear you right, Tanner? You got a little 2K tournament going on down there?
Yeah, a little bit.
So he did us a courtesy of getting in a quiet place. So we appreciate that. So we're going to talk to Tanner. We're going to talk about what's going on down in Arizona. We're going to talk about just his whole experience last year at the draft, what it's like for somebody waiting for their name to be called, and just a bunch of stuff about baseball. So with all that being said, let's tap this keg. As always, this show is brought to you by SportsMockery, sportsmockery.com. Make sure you download the app, turn on push notifications so you and your friends will be the first ones to know when anything breaks, like Tanner McDougal gets called up to the White Sox. When any kind of news breaks, you'll get the push notification. SportsMockery, sportsmockery.com. All right, so let's just start it off. Tanner, so you're down in Arizona, and you're rehabbing. You had a little bit of an injury, right?
Yeah, I had TJ in October.
TJ, all right. So basically,
Should we get a little background of who Tanner is, where he came from, real quick?
I mean, I know you want to. All right, go ahead. Talk about Las Vegas.
We made it shower today, okay? God,
we made it. Yeah, we made it 2 minutes before you brought up Vegas. I'm just mad. I saw the pink shoes limping. Go ahead, Fitz.
I didn't bring up Vegas. No. Just if you guys aren't familiar with Tanner, Tanner's out of Las Vegas. Obviously, Aldo kind of made that joke, but he's from Silverado High School. He played under Coach Brian Whitaker, who I think maybe Tanner will probably agree with me on this one. The greatest high school baseball coach in the history of the state of Nevada. A all-time career wins leader. Program that's hard-nosed. You White Sox fans, if you guys are, I know a lot of Sox fans love the hard-ass kind of mentality. Tanner is kind of a beautiful cross between both. He obviously likes to have a good time, but he also comes from that old school mentality. We've talked about his dad here on the show as well. He comes from a great, gene pool here in Vegas that it's no nonsense. And Tanner was part of our program. And during the shutdown, we didn't get a chance to finish everything. But Tanner was taken 5th round last year by the Chicago White Sox in the draft. It was a big deal for him. Obviously, if you're not familiar, he signed with the White Sox not too long after that, coming out of Vegas. And then was it January? Was it January or was it earlier than January that you had the minor TJ? That was October. Okay, so October last year, had a little work done to keep the extension of the health early on. Obviously, that's actually not a bad idea if it's going to ever happen. It's happening then. And he's been rehabbing ever since. But I can just tell you right now, I'm super stoked because Tanner is like one of the, if you go through the group of kids that, dudes that I've been around and coached, with Tanner especially, Tanner's been under Coach Witt. His dad played for Coach Witt. Basically since birth, he's been a part of the program that he came up in. And now he's obviously all grown up and he's doing his thing. So for us, we're pretty damn stoked to see him jump out and make a run at this career. And so we're super stoked for him.
Fidge, Tanner, just so you know, you are gradually getting into Chris Bryant territory with K-Fits.
He knows where he's at. Shit.
Okay, just so I want to make sure you know that. And you can see, I don't know if since you're on your phone, if you can see the comment section, but people are already starting a drinking game. Every time Fidz mentions you or Vegas, you got to drink. So that's getting pretty serious. That's a pretty high honor, though, bud. That's pretty high honor.
Yeah, I mean,
I'm like on the baseball reference page. That's a pretty high honor.
I've never heard more stories about somebody in my life unless I was a fiddler. But it's not great stories, good stories. It's all good.
Yeah.
Like Tanner, if all the Cub fans apologize up front. Tanner is a Cardinal fan. was a National League. If he has to choose a National League team, that would be the team that he. Yeah. But it's been great. We got to watch Tanner develop all the way up through. So his freshman year was my freshman year at Silverado. So when I started over there, that was both our first year. So I was kind of assigned the Tanner duty because coach the Whitaker family and all the coaches have basically known him since he was a baby. So it was they were like, hey, Fiddler, get in here, take care of your kid. And so he was my son for 4 years, or for 3.5 years, I guess you'd say. But and it was perfect because him and I are both talkies and lots of stories and lots of stupidity. And if it gave Tanner a couple of extra seconds to not have to clean up the field,
just a couple though.
Stand by me with a rake and pretend like you're working.
Yep.
Well, Fidge, your other boy, Bryson Stott, just hit a bomb.
Hey, Tanner, you're familiar with Bryson too, obviously. You guys know each other, don't you? Or
not really, no. He was older than me, so I never really
Wait a minute. I'm under the impression that everyone that plays baseball in Vegas are not only best friends, but want to be on the same teams with each other. Because we all know when Chris Bryant was a free agent, everybody wanted to say he wanted to play with Bryce Harper because they both lived in Vegas. So that's not true. This is breaking news.
That is.
We might break the internet right here. I can't believe it.
That is.
Yeah, Tanner, do you not have a dog named Wrigley? Come on.
No, never. Oh, sorry, Cubs fans. But
no, do not apologize, Tanner. Do not apologize for that.
Actually, quick question, Tanner. So, Cardinals fan, you said?
Yeah.
So, that is your team. You grew up Cardinals fan.
Growing up, yes, because my dad played for them. So that's just kind of who I
okay.
was.
Makes sense. All right. Super fair.
Yeah. And then as I got older, it was more Dodgers, just because I came more familiar with the area. But yeah. When I was younger, it was definitely Cardinals.
And there are a few things Tanner liked to remind me of than when the Cubs would lose. He would tell me to make sure that I knew
they were 108 years strong.
Yes.
Well, Kevin, you can always remind Tanner
Tanner.
Lifetime in the playoffs, Cubs are 1-0 against the Cardinals.
That's true.
All right. So you mentioned that the apartment's getting a little loud with the 2K tournament. Who are you down there in Arizona with? Who's down in for the White Sox organization? Who are you down there with?
I'm staying with Jason Gonzalez, third baseman out of Vanderbilt last year in my draft as well. Gil Luna, pitcher out of Arizona, out of my draft. And then Luke Schilling, who got drafted in 2018.
Okay.
Out of Illinois State, I believe.
And then at the complex, just overall, is Garrett Crochet down there?
Yes.
Okay. Is there anybody else down there that you think some of the, let's say, people that don't know the system as deep as one would like? Anybody else down there with you guys?
Danny Mendick is also down.
Oh, I forgot about Danny. Yeah.
Crochet, Mendick. Nobody else super.
Nobody else from the show?
Nobody else from the big leagues now.
Okay.
Joe Kelly was down here for a second.
I gotta imagine he was cool.
He's exactly how you would think he is.
Yeah.
He's a smart person. Extremely smart person.
I'm not sure if you guys saw it, but when he came back up to the White Sox, he did an interview on 670 Score. That's one of the main sports radio station here. And the guy who did the bleep button, he might have had arthritis after that one because he was ripping F-bombs. He had a good time. He said some funny shit on that interview.
Oh, yeah.
I can definitely see what you're saying about that for sure.
Yeah, great guy, though. You ask him a question, he's willing to answer it. I haven't met a bad person at ours.
that was my next question. So guys like Garrett Crochet or, Dane Mendick seems like he's fucking cool. But guys who have got farther up through the system and stuff like that, are those guys receptive to, some of the younger guys? Or who's someone that if you had a question right now about something, who would you go to? Not a coach.
Garrett, obviously, right away.
Okay.
Like, he's very, like, as soon as you ask him a question, like, he's very intuitive with you. Like, he'll answer your question. He's not going to big league you. He's just a good dude. I mean, they're all good dudes. I mean, you can talk to any of them. Even during spring training when everybody's just kind of jumbled together. And, I mean, you can get in talks with Liam Hendricks. I mean, I talked to Eloy Jimenez. I mean, there's a bunch of guys in the org that you're like, that guy's scary. I've watched him on TV since I was little. And it's like, you go up and talk to him. It's like, just a regular dude, just like me. Even, I mean, I talked to TA as well in spring training. I was walking out one day and we walk out like the backside and they were going down for a game and he said, what's up? And we had like a little conversation, but it was nothing crazy. But just the fact that he was willing to say what's up to some random minor leaguer, you know what I mean? Like,
yeah,
they don't know them like we know, or they don't know us like we know them.
That's fair. I to be honest with you, you absolutely love to hear that because,
Yes.
unfortunately, the only stories that make it to Twitter, I'm pointing at Twitter, by the way, with my arm movement that no one can see. But on Twitter and other social media sites, is when guys, big league guys, or guys are assholes in the organization. You don't hear about the good stuff like that. And I guess my follow-up question to that, and I'll turn it over to the rest of the guys because I'm talking a lot here, but how's Garrett doing these days?
Great.
That's great. Oh,
Everybody down. The whole rehab crew is great. I mean, everybody's progressing well, and I mean, everybody's in good spirits, so can't really complain.
Because the White Sox are desperately missing that left-hander in the bullpen right now. So
yeah,
that'd be fantastic. Fids, Aldo, Mitch, go ahead, jump on in here.
I mean, enough about other pitchers. Tanner, how is your rehab going?
Yeah.
I
was curious about
great.
Garrett. All right, damn it.
Yeah, I said to that girl in the back row, she's cute.
Yeah. But how is it going, Tanner? Thank you.
Good.
Aldo.
Can't complain. I've had nothing major, no setbacks, none of that. So that's been good. God forbid, of course. But I mean, this was, as bad as it sounds, it was like a blessing in disguise because it gave me that kind of freshman year of college to go and put on 15, 20 pounds of muscle and kind of grow into that man strength in the body that I need to have to be able to compete for 140 games or 162 games a year, where we were playing 60 games a year and it wasn't every day. It was on the weekends. We might practice twice a week, if that. Like, we were just getting our stuff in where now it's every day. So it's been really beneficial for me. Not only physically, mentally too. I've learned a lot about myself and learned a lot from just talking to people and having conversations with guys all throughout the org. But everything that has happened from this rehab has been positive.
And you, when you, I mean, because when you were drafted, I mean, it was kind of like a weird thing for you because you weren't in pain by any means. It was, you said it was just like discomfort, right? Like a little, was it forearm discomfort? Was that what you're saying?
It wasn't. I never had problems with anything. I mean, I was very well taken care of, and like it was one pitch, I threw a curveball, and it like felt like a rubber band tightened. And then we thought initially that it was a forearm strain. So I came back during instructs, went through a throwing program, and then it just wasn't the same. Went through an MRI, obviously, and then there it was. But it was never like I knew it was coming. That's why it was so shocking to me, because we did what we thought was such a good job of taking care of everything going on. But I mean, in essence, you can't really strengthen the elbow. It's if you throw hard enough at some point or another, it's bound to happen to you, and it's kind of just like a passage, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah, the good news is though, we see all. I mean, it's almost become like a common thing now in MLB where these guys are getting TJ and they're coming back even stronger.
Yes.
I
I
mean,
mean, I figured you were going to add some velo. I mean, because you have to obviously work with the balance of building out and rehabbing, but at the same time, you've still got to make sure everything else is taken care of. So, does it feel like you've put a little bit more into the shoulder and the things that maybe before, because you weren't rehabbing, maybe you didn't specialize with workout wise? And I mean, are you feeling? I know because you haven't been able to turn yourself loose yet, so you're not really sure where it's going to go. But do you feel not just structurally in the elbow, but like shoulder wise, body wise, core wise? Do you feel stronger? Do you feel like you're ready to kind of like uncork one here soon? And I mean, maybe obviously under doctor's guidance, of course, but do you feel like when you do uncork something, it's gonna be kind of like a, not necessarily Henry Rowengartner, but you're gonna feel that extra velocity maybe come as a result of all this?
100%.
love it.
I mean, I can feel it in catch play, and I'm not even like stepping on the gas at all. You throw it and you let it go and it gets through the target. It's not kind of fading as it's getting there. And towards the end last year was the most I'd ever thrown. I mean, with COVID and shutting down and not shutting down, and then just kind of staying like in throwing shape throughout the shutdown and all that, it was just the most I'd ever thrown. So I think that also had a little bit of something to do with it. But like now when I play catch, like I can feel it back to what it was and even better. The ball flight is just a lot better than what it was. It was kind of fading towards the end of the year, and I think that's another thing is I think towards the end of the year my shoulder wasn't as strong, so my slot dropped just a tad bit, and it just was too much torque on the elbow, and I had went through a little bit of a velo jump when I got here too. So I think that obviously didn't help.
So Tanner, have the White Sox given you kind of like a timeline, or how do you see the rest of this year playing out?
The rest of, I mean, I won't pitch probably at all this year. I mean, possibly instructs, like maybe an inning.
Yeah.
But at the same time, like there's no reason to really build up for that inning.
Absolutely.
When I could just go home, have a full off season, come back. Spring training, I'll be good to go. I'll probably be balls to the wall in spring training.
All right. And just for the people that might not know Tanner as well as like Fitz and the rest of us who did our homework, Tanner's 19. Like, we're not talking to some 25-year-old guy that's been in the system for a while. He's got time to get better, and he's got time to build up that velo. And so I guess on that note, though, Tanner, what's your pitch mix look like these days?
Fastball, changeup, curveball.
Okay, so 3 pitch. Are you looking to add a fourth, or are you going to focus on those?
Definitely, yeah. Coming back, yes. I don't know what yet, but definitely.
Hit him with the old slurve. I love the slurves.
Yeah.
It's impossible to hit an MLB The Show, so that's why I like it, because I'm an idiot. But yeah. Go ahead, Fitz.
I was going to say, well, I mean, obviously we were talking about the draft, and obviously you were a draft pick last year too, and this is kind of a good way to kind of segue into it.
Yep.
I know that as your high school season ended, I mean, it was a shortened season. You guys played 15 games that year. I mean, maybe a little bit more with the state tournament. That was you guys were kind of bouncing around, and with that, you came out. So it was really a lot of question marks. And so you were invited to was it the top 100 prospect camp? Was it that what it was that you went to in before the draft? It was a couple weeks before the draft last year. Like, I guess take us through
the draft combine?
The combine. Take us to basically the end of your senior season, which was again really short, ended in like early May, late April, I think.
Yeah.
And take us from like there through how, I mean, because obviously, I mean, I'll be honest, we weren't sure what to expect. We weren't super, like, with you and Chris, with Cortez, we had no idea, like, where is this going to fall? Where's this going to shake because of the shortened season, here and there. So, like, take us through, like, when your season ended, and through up before the draft, pre-draft. What was all the pre-draft stuff? Like, what did you do pre-draft? And because I know that there was a point where they saw your spin rate and people basically started drooling all over it. And there was a point where all of a sudden you really skyrocketed. So take us all the way up to that.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't play in many tournaments at that point because there was no reason to play in games anymore. I threw some bullpens in front of scouts that wanted to see it up close or get more personal. I had a ton of Zoom calls with different scouts from all over. And basically, I mean, we did some workouts that we had gotten that I got invited to by big league teams. I did those. I did the draft combine, which I thought was amazing. Like, for the first year, how they ran it was like very classy, learned so much from it, and like met so many good people. And then after that, I mean, draft time came because I think the draft was 2, 3, like maybe a week or so after. It was very fast. Actually, funny story about the draft combine is I came home from draft combine in Oregon, who I was initially committed to, brought me up on an official visit 2 days after I got home from the draft combine. Try to get me to go to school, stuff like that, which was very cool because I didn't get to do that because of COVID, obviously. So it was very cool to go see that campus. But I mean, that's kind of all we did. I did the workouts, and the workouts were 20, 25 pitches off of a mound, like
Right.
sometimes to hitter, sometimes not. Like did one with Toronto, one with Baltimore. I actually did do one in Fenway. I got to pitch in Fenway, which was very cool.
I couldn't remember who it was. It was Fenway.
That was that's probably my favorite baseball memory to this point. Favorite like event, I guess you could call it, because everybody's always asking what's your favorite event, area codes, all the stuff, and that was by far the coolest thing. I mean, it was 15 pitches, but it was still like crazy, like surreal. But other than that, like there wasn't much that we did. By that, it was kind of set in stone. It was just going out and proving what I could do in high school season, and after that, it was just up in the air on where I would really fall.
Now, Tanner, were you always just going to go pro? I know you said you were committed to Oregon. Do you think COVID played part of that decision? Do you think if, shit went a little differently, you might have ended up in a different spot, or were you just, I'm going to the draft, I'm going?
I mean, initially when I committed, that was the plan because I wasn't obviously where I was when it became time to get drafted. I mean, draft really became a possibility in summer of my junior year going into my senior year.
What year did you commit?
My sophomore summer going into my junior year. Right before COVID year.
Okay.
And then we played 6 games my junior year. And after that, we obviously got shut down. I came down here. I played in Arizona. I damn near lived in Arizona that summer.
Mm-hmm.
Played games in that, and then the scouts started rolling in, and it just became more of an opportunity. And I was always open to it because obviously my dad played, so I felt like I had good people in my corner to be able to come and do this. Mm-hmm. Where I could understand how it could be overwhelming for some people, because it's overwhelming. It is.
Yeah. And
there's just certain ways to handle it, and I don't think some people could cope with the ways that it goes. I mean, you're kind of thrown. It's kind of on you. Like there's coaches and there's people here to help you, but it's on you at this point. If you want to be a big leaguer, you need to go be a big leaguer. Everybody's good. Everybody can hit the ball 480 feet. Everybody can throw the ball 96, 97 miles an hour. So it's like, what can you do to separate yourself from the pack, And I think I was ready for that. And I felt like I was mature enough to come and do this as an 18-year-old, obviously. And I mean, it's worked great. I love everybody here. Like, all the guys are great. I was kind of welcomed with open arms. It's obviously tough when you come in and you're a high school kid around a bunch of college kids that are 23, 24, 25 years old, and they kind of look at you sideways for the first few weeks because they're like, why this kid over me, or whatever it may be. Yeah. And I mean, after a while, that kind of everybody forgets about that, and it just becomes your teammates, and this is your new family, and it does feel like that here.
So let's say everything rolls the way you want it to roll. What's a ideal 2023 look for your Tanner McDougal?
Get out of Arizona to an affiliate. Just dominate the affiliate. Hopefully, I'm shooting for start in Low A, Kannapolis. Hopefully by the end of the year, be in Winston-Salem. That's what I'm shooting for. And anything else is just added, obviously. For
sure. Again, you're 19, dude. You got
exactly.
You got some time to work with.
That's kind of how I see it. I got a lot of time. That's another thing with the whole rehab routine is like you get nervous because it's like, oh shit, like what if I just kind of get pushed to the side, especially with draft coming up and all that? It's like there's 20 new guys coming in 2 weeks.
Mm-hmm.
Like, what happens then? And it's like, oh, you're safe, all the money and all the shit. And it's like, yeah, to a certain extent. Like, I still want to go out and I want to compete every day, and I want to go and I want to play baseball. It's what I chose to do for a living, and when you can't do it, it's brutal. It's terrible.
That kind of leads into my next question. Obviously, rehab grind sucks, especially starting your professional career. What have you done mentally to try and stay, I guess, even keeled through the whole process or get through it better? Because I know different guys handle it differently. Like I know Michael Kopech was saying he tried to distract himself and get away from baseball as much as possible. Just kind of how have you handled that whole process?
Just being positive as possible. I try to find positive in anything that I do during the day. And sometimes it is hard. Like, I'm not going to sugarcoat it at all.
Right.
Like, sometimes you just have a shitty day and you're pissed off at the world for no reason. And it's like, wait, like, take a breath. Like, I'm doing what I love for a living. I'm chasing my dream for a living. Like, it's really not that bad. Like, there's people that aren't going to have food on their table tonight. Like, you need to step back and look at this as a positive thing and go at it and crush the rehab and just get back to where you want to be. Because it sucks. Yeah, it sucks, but it is what it is. Like, you didn't ask to be hurt, and you can't feel sorry for yourself. Like, you just got to put your nose to the grindstone and just get after it. Like, so, I mean, the best way I can put it is just be positive, talk to family a lot. Anytime I can hang out, I mean, with friends from home, if they were to come down, whatever it is, that always helps. Because you do get lonely down here, but that's just the beast of it. You know what I mean? And that's where you learn to be mentally tough.
You're not super far from home either. I mean, in a weird way, you could hop in the car, 5-hour drive, right? Roughly five and a half. And then, your dad and your mom could, and you don't have to twist your dad and your mom's arm to go.
No, definitely not.
Grab a couple beers in Arizona either. But you said something earlier, and because it really does pair up with Mitch's question too. You said something earlier too about the mental toughness to become a professional athlete, to be a professional baseball player. You don't have to, now you no longer have somebody following behind you and hammering on you to get the work in. And it all really does fall on you, which requires responsibility, professionalism, which you've heard it a million times. I know through WIT is the idea of our San Diego trips were about being professional. I mean, he taught you guys most of you guys never learned how to tip until you guys went on that San Diego trip, things like that. And
tip everybody. Golden rule. Just tip everybody.
Always, yes, always.
I see it Denny's right there on there. Oh, never. But at the sleeping shit right there on Hotel Circle Drive or whatever. But yeah, you said it, and that made me wonder. Like with pre-draft stuff, as these teams are kind of vetting each player, especially when they're going to take a high school player, you obviously have to understand the psyche of that individual. I mean, you and I have both, you've seen it across the diamond too. Kids that act like jackasses or can't handle failure, or like when things go poorly, they fall apart, the wheels come off. Were there some questions during the pre-draft vetting that you got from teams that you heard from multiple teams that almost came across to you as like they were kind of like trying to peg and push and see where you were at mentally wise as far as toughness and professionalism, all that stuff? Was there a question or a set of questions that you heard repeatedly from everybody that stood out to you that maybe kind of ticked that box a little bit?
I mean, when I tell you I've never done more questionnaires in my entire life, and they were the same 40 or 50 questions every single time, like, and it was just to see what made you tick. You know what I mean? Like, they'd ask you, like, do you put your peanut butter in the fridge? It's like, who the fuck puts their peanut butter in the fridge? Like,
serial killer.
Who even comes up with that question? You know what I mean? Like,
wait. Time out. Sorry, Tanner. Time out. Sorry. What is wrong with putting peanut butter in a damn fridge?
Oh, no. Wait. Let's go around the room. Everyone give their answers.
What is wrong with putting peanut butter in the fridge?
I put peanut butter in the fridge. I'm not going to lie.
Yeah, boy, Mitch.
I put it in the fridge.
NASCAR Mitch is with me.
So sorry, Tanner. I brought you onto a podcast with both John Wayne and Gacy here.
Well, I'm sorry, Zoe and Mitch. That must be like a Chicago thing, because this is a no for me too.
I mean, it's not like I have to, but like once you open it and you use it, you throw it. I
feel like it helps it last longer. Yeah,
it makes it last longer.
Plus, your next thing you're going to tell me you put your milk in the fridge. What the? Oh wait,
Stop it.
Sorry.
And I also want to say I did kind of kill the vibe to start the show, but I'm going to bring it back up Aloy just has tightness in his right leg. He's day to day.
So those updates mean nothing.
Yes, they do. Shut up, Aldo.
Just say that the Sox are still leading. That's how you keep the good
And the
vibes.
Sox are still leading.
That
And,
tightens your groin. There you go. So
and Lucas Giolito went 7 1/3. So that was
There
a
you go.
long outing. That was solid.
All right, back to the weird questions.
Back to the weird. Yeah. What other weird questions? 'Cause
Yeah,
I'm probably going to answer all these wrong. So what other weird questions?
Yeah.
Just
Well,
exposing
it got
ourselves.
down to
right?
like, if you go to the bathroom and you use the last piece of toilet paper, do you put a new roll on? It's like,
Yes.
yes.
did they ask you which direction you put
That's
the
right.
roll?
Hold on.
I know Zoe probably puts it backwards so he can pull it down after he just said he puts his peanut butter in
You
the
don't pull it.
frickin'
You
fridge.
pull it down. You pull
Pulls
it
it
down.
backwards.
No, you put it down. Not backwards, but you put it so the down's in the front. You pull down.
Yeah, I'm saying you put it backwards.
No,
you said
no,
the
no,
way you put
no,
it.
no. But I also want to point out that we all right away said yes when you said that question. Fid stayed silent. Just
Well,
just saying.
you said
Just
Uh,
saying. Just
who
saying.
uses
Oh,
toilet
that's their problem if there's no toilet paper and he walks out.
When you have a
Just saying.
bidet, all you need is a towel for dabbing. I'm just saying.
Fid's got some dirty ass socks laying on his bathroom floor somewhere.
Carrie's out of town right now. So
Kevin's I see Kevin is having a bidet.
You are a bidet guy, aren't you, Fids?
No, I mean, I should get. I almost bought one during the pandemic when all the toilet paper was gone. I'm like, fuck it. I mean, if that wasn't the universe telling you to get a bidet, I don't know what was. But no. I just do what the dog does and just rub my ass on the carpet.
Yeah, fair enough. Fair enough. But I know they do all these weird questions on the question. Did you have to do like I mean, I guess I never heard about the MLB stuff, but I know in the NBA combine, they're like, they ask you crazy shit in those interviews.
Yeah,
Did you
NFL
get-
too. They always
Yeah,
give up those stupid
but
questions.
do you
yeah.
guys did you get like a verbal like interview with those kind of questions?
Yeah, I met. Well, I mean, not like the questions, but at the draft combine, you do go meet with teams. And they don't ask you like questions, but they just kind of ask you about your family. Like, it's big on like, you'd be surprised how in depth they go with your family and all that, because they want to know that you're coming from a good place.
Yeah.
Because they don't want to draft a psycho. You know what I mean?
Yeah. No, for sure.
Not trying
I
to
mean-
sound bad for anyone
Well,
that.
Someone
I'll
who puts
say-
peanut
I'll
butter
say-
in the
but-
fridge. Yeah.
Yeah, I'll say it for you because I don't give a shit. But yeah, I mean, there's obviously some guys that slip through the cracks. Like you see Chris Sale demolishing a TV in a AA clubhouse, which he did pay for, and he bought the guys a bunch of shit. But like, and then we could sit here. I can do an hour show just listing psychos in Major League Baseball. But that's interesting though, because like I said, you hear it about the NBA and NFL combines, but I guess I never thought they did that for the MLB. But it makes sense if they're investing millions of dollars in you, that you're not gonna, not put peanut butter in the fridge.
I'm
Exactly.
sure those quizzes, those questionnaires are like coded too. I'm sure they've got like, it's like a Rorschach test. Like if someone answers this and then this
Oh, yeah.
combination, you've got
It's the car.
Right.
My bad.
It's the car. I was gonna say it's got to be the car.
Elon Musk is spying on us. That bastard.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, it's got to be coded in the sense where it's like, certain, we do those for, I know it sounds weird in education, but we do have some of those types of quizzes that we give to certain, like to determine, student kind of not necessarily proficiency, but their ability to maybe handle a higher level program. And there's some questions where a combination of them will tell you a lot about their emotional psyche. And so, I mean, as long as they didn't ask you like, do you bury the body in a crawl space or do you take it out to the desert? I think that
Desert.
Yeah, I don't think I got any questions on that.
Lake Mead, but it's drying up. Sorry.
You've been very generous with your time, Tanner, and I really appreciate it. I do have one question that I have to ask you.
Yeah.
I have a 1-year-old son. Obviously, I'm a big baseball guy, and he's going to be sending videos to Fids when he gets older for breakdowns. But what advice would you give to, parents right now that got young guys that, are playing house leagues and travel ball and all that kind of stuff? Like, which direction would you steer them in? What do you
Fiddler
got?
probably
for
knows what I'm going to say. You got to let your kids be kids.
them? I totally
I've
agree.
seen too many friends. Friends, just other kids. I've seen and it's no offense to parents. I know they want what's best for their children, but you can't burn them. You're going to burn them out. You can't make them go to every game, every practice, every lesson, and all the crap. Like, let them be kids. Let them go play flag football. Let them go play soccer. Let them go to the park with their friends and just fuck around.
Mhm.
Like, unfortunately, kids are gonna have to get into trouble to learn. And if they constantly have their mom or their dad spoon feeding them and down their throat, like, it's never gonna work. They'll never gain that independence that you need. And like, unfortunately, it's sickening to see how bad youth baseball has gotten. It's terrible, and it frustrates the hell out of me because
it's insane.
It's incredible how many money hungry people there are in youth baseball alone. Obviously in the world, but in youth baseball alone, that are cramming just shit down people's throats, and they believe it because my cousin's brother's dog walker, he played in the big leagues, and so I know what I'm saying. So give me $200 for an hour for a hitting lesson where you're going to hit off the tee for 30 swings, and I'm going to try to teach you to tuck the elbow or bring it up high. It's like, no, like let your kids be kids. And I know this is gonna, I mean, it might rub people the wrong way for people that believe in all the lessons and all the bullshit. But if you're good enough, they'll find you. You don't have to go to every showcase and every perfect game tournament and every PBR scout day. Like, that shit doesn't mean anything. Scouts are scouts. They do their own job. They are scouts for a reason. They have a job. They don't need other people to do their job.
Right.
Perfect game, half the time it's fucking fake. Unfortunately, it's not real. I mean, you can pay them. Hey, say my kid throws 88. Here's $30. Okay.
Yeah.
I'll write it up.
It's crazy.
And that's how bad it's gotten. People are paying their way into these like stat columns when it's like, if you're
That's
a dude,
insane.
you're a dude, and that's just how it's gonna be. Like, I'm sorry.
A lot of uncalibrated radar guns in U.S. club ball culture.
Oh my goodness, it's terrible, and unfortunately, like, I mean, Filler, you know my little brother Ty. Like, Tyler, he's falling into it just a little bit, and I tell him, I'm like, don't worry about it. Like, stop worrying about your outfield velo and your 60 time and your exit velo off of a tee. Like, nobody gives a shit. I'm sorry, like, this actually gets me fired up. I'm glad you asked the question. It gets me, like, it genuinely gets me mad because I see so many talented athletes in any sport. I mean, obviously baseball is what I'm the most ventured in and stuff like that, but I've seen so many kids fizzle out and hate baseball, hate football, hate basketball because of, one, high school coaches. High school coaches are brutal.
Yep.
If you don't have a good one. Youth coaches are terrible. Or their parents just constantly making them do things they don't want to do. Kids want to play video games. They want to go and ride their bikes at the park. They want to go play wiffle ball at the park. They want to go play football. Like, that was the greatest thing my parents ever did with me. Was, hey, Mom, can I go to the park with my friends? Yeah, go. Be careful. Okay. Yeah. We never got hurt. I mean, we were rough as hell. Like, we'd play tackle football at the park when I was 15, 16 years old. It's like, go be a kid.
Right.
Don't be a robot.
Right.
Because
it's funny.
you going to every practice and every game and every lesson is not going to make you the next Bryce Harper, the next Chris Bryant, the next Mike Trout. It's not. That's not how it works.
I can't think of the guy's name right now. He started out by doing TikToks where he did like this funny ass impression of Cody Bellinger.
Yes,
and
he actually just reacted to one of my TikToks.
No shit. All right, but he's been like heading this huge campaign against Perfect Game, where he comes out and he's just like, Perfect Game's a fucking scam. He said a lot of stuff that you've been saying. He's a little bit more extreme, but I just for fun, because I think it's hilarious, read the comments in his videos. These parents go batshit crazy at him. It's fucking hilarious.
That's the problem too, is Perfect Game has everybody caught up in this. Oh, I have to take my kid to Perfect Game. I have to take him to PBR. I have to take him to this. I have to take him to that. It's like, no, you don't. if the kid wants to do it, he'll do it.
Mm-hmm.
The college coaches will find him.
Right.
And if you're good enough, you don't have to pay to go to those things. Like, as unfortunate as it sounds, and I was obviously very blessed with talent and a lot of things.
Right.
But like I said, if you're good enough, they're going to find you.
I think that's the biggest thing. If you're good enough, they'll find you. I think
there's so many athletes in this world, and I think it's kind of a misconception. People don't understand how hard it is to be a professional athlete, a D1 athlete. I mean, even just to play at the next level after high school. I mean, you see all these commercials where NCAA is posting, and it's like 2% or whatever it is goes to NCAA or it goes into college sports, and it's like it's real.
Yeah,
it's not. Your kid's not going to wake up one day and throw 97 off the bump and hit 30 home runs a year like a Shohei Ohtani.
Well, let's not rule that out yet, but okay.
I mean, it's just like there's just a huge misconception in youth sports, and it's very hard for me to just sit back and watch. And I don't have a platform to necessarily talk about it.
Mm-hmm.
But like everything that I've said is how I feel about it.
Yeah.
Personally, let your kid play high school ball. And I understand coaches are bad. You're going to get them. I mean, it is what it is sometimes. And honestly, that teaches kids a lot too. In life, you're going to have to deal with people you don't care for, unfortunately. Right. Like,
yeah, you're always going to have a boss.
I feel like you keep stressing that point right there. It really hurts my feelings.
I got two things from that.
Yeah. I was very blessed.
It was bad. High school coach.
I was blessed with great coaches my entire career. I'm just saying, I know, and Fiddler knows, in Vegas, there are some people that should not be around kids at all. But let your kid be a kid. That's the biggest thing I can say.
No, I like it. And I really like if you're good enough to find. I've been a firm believer of that for a while, and it's great to hear a guy in your position emphasize that point. So
100%.
Aldo, Fids, Mitch, you guys got anything else for Tanner?
Oh, it's been great. That last bit was amazing. That was great stuff.
That was very well said, Tanner. It really was.
It's something that's important for people to hear that too, because I mean, it's really easy to be in an echo chamber of in a parent bubble, and I'm sure Tanner can attest to this too. And his dad obviously does. You know, with Tyler right now, he's at Liberty High School, which is one of the more baseball hotbed, kind of I would say a little bit more clubby. I mean, but there's a lot of, it's Jay still there, right? No, Jay left, didn't he? So it's it's Rich, not Jay. Jay's over.
It's Rich, Tyler Houston.
Yep, ex-Cub Tyler Houston. Yep,
and Berkey.
Oh yeah, it's Ronnie. That's right.
Ronnie, yeah.
Yep. Yeah, that's right. But yeah, I mean, you have that, and it's hard when you get these parents in a bubble though, because the parents, they all think that this is normal when you're in a club ball bubble. And I mean, Tanner, you were lucky enough to be in a family where you and your buddies were always doing whatever the hell you guys needed to do. And a lot of these parents are told that if you miss one single club tournament, that you're going to miss that showcase. The kid's like 9 years old. You missed the showcase in Georgia. You're never going to play D1 now. It's like, Jesus, come on. And it's true, though, that these people don't know any better because they're in an echo chamber. And that's the sad part about club ball. I'd say, I don't know, Tanner, how you'd feel, but I'd say probably maybe 6 to 10% max club ball benefits the players as players and humans, as opposed to 90% where it's more for profit. It's just raking in big bucks.
Yeah, I mean, you look at it and it's just, if you have a good high school coach, you'll play high school baseball for $500 to $1,000 if you go on a trip. If you get New Jersey every year, it might be $1,500 for the year, but that's within fundraisers. It's not, hey, you owe me $700 this month, you're gonna owe me $800 next month, and then you're gonna owe me $3,000 at the end of the year just because we hit in the cages once a week. And it's like, dude, cages are like $5, dude. Like, where are you getting $3,000? Well, that's the thing, is you guys are using the lights. Well, the lights are at the field at the school, which is basically free. You don't have to pay for those lights. Well, and then they're talking in circles, but the parents are so oblivious to it, and I feel bad because there's nobody to tell them, like, hey, this is wrong. If you're in a real baseball community or a real baseball family, like, you understand, like, it shouldn't be $700 to play high school baseball. If you go on a trip, it should be max like $800, and it's because you're paying $300 for the trip for,
I guess,
room,
I do have
all that.
One more question for you, Tanner. It's a little bit different topic though. So with the MLB draft coming up though, it seems like a lot of these projected top picks are coming out of high school. Mm-hmm. Is there anybody off the top of your head that people should be made aware of in this draft? Any buddies or anybody that you played against?
Yeah, I mean, I've played against almost every single one of the top 10.
Anybody stand out?
Tamar Johnson is the flat out best hitter I've faced in my career ever.
And you didn't even hesitate. That was a straight Tamar right away. They got him. MLB.com's got him projected going 4th overall in the draft to the Pirates.
I
Behind
saw Cubs too in early mock draft.
7th.
6th
Yeah.
or 7th.
Yep. 7th.
Whoever gets Tamar will greatly benefit from him. Good guy, good kid. Like I've never genuinely sat down and talked to the kid. Like it's just always been passing by at tournaments or whatever. Like, oh yeah, there he is. Like he has a presence, obviously, whatever it is.
Yeah, he's a big boy.
I mean, it's the same with Drew Jones or Holiday or even Justin Crawford. I mean, I texted Crawford the other day. I was like, yo, hey, I understand it. Like this draft process is stressful as hell. Like it's very stressful. I was like, if you need anything, hit me up. Like just text me. Yeah, thank you. Like I understand it. I was like, I know it's gonna be a little easier for you because you're kind of, you know where you're gonna go. But like if you need anything, let me know. And it's kind of crazy to think like these kids are such good baseball players, and it's crazy to think that it's like 6 out of the first 10 are like supposed to be high school kids, or something like that. Like,
and they're all
high school talent is a lot better than I think people understand, and like it's not a bad thing to come out of high school.
And they're all in kind of a similar case than you, where I'm looking through this list of these top 10 projected. I know all their dads because all their dads played pro ball.
I mean, you got Drew Jones, you got Carl Crawford, obviously Matt Holiday. I mean, and I missed some. I know I missed some, but there's like dudes like hey, their dad was a big leaguer. Hey, Drew Jones was a 10-time big like Gold Glover. Like
Andrew Jones is a very underrated MLB outfielder.
And Drew Jones is everything you could ever want in an outfielder. They're saying, oh, his size. It's like, no, the kid rakes. He's rakes. He's got a hose. He runs well. You put him in a weight room in a big league or in a organized weight room, which I'm not saying he hasn't been in an organized weight room. I know he has, but you put him with a trainer who's going to work with him every day. Put 20-30 pounds on him. The kid's going to be a unit.
You just stole my thunder, by the way, because the White Sox are picking 26th, and that's roughly around where Crawford is slotted, and Crawford's the guy that I think if the White Sox are insane if they don't take him with that pick.
Whoa, where are you getting Crawford at 26, bro? The latest one
got him at like 17.
The latest one on MLB.com's got him at 9.
Yeah. Oh, I live by the Keith Law School.
Keith Law can suck a fart out of my ass.
they got him.
Sorry, I'm not a big fan of Keith Law. But
if Crawford somehow falls, they got Kumar Rocker going 20. Oh, this is a new one. This is a new draft. Oh, wait.
Yeah, they got a new one that just came right out. But if you just go straight off of prospect rankings, Crawford 13th right now.
He's my guy. If he's the guy that I was going to say White Sox. If he falls to them,
I would love it. His dad played in Tampa Bay. I don't know, Tanner, you're probably too young, but there's a game called MVP Baseball back in the day. Carl Crawford was a fucking beast in that game. Carl Crawford won me so much money in that game. So I'm all about getting Carl Crawford's kid.
Theo Epstein thought the same.
Yeah. How big? I'm just looking. Drew Jones is 6'4", 180. So he's got the height. He just got to put some meat on him. Get that kid a hamburger. Holy shit.
Tanner, you mentioned how, like the one supposed knock on Drew Jones, like his size or whatever. Do you ever remember reading stuff about yourself and being like, where did this come from? Or like, that's
a good question.
It's actually a good question. Personally, I know me, so I never really gave a shit about any of that, the write-ups and all the bullshit. Like, it's someone who doesn't know me as a person or whatever it is. But yeah, like I had seen some stuff where I was like I read it and I was like, I mean, it's your opinion. You can write whatever you want. You know what I mean? You can put whatever you want on the internet. But I know me, and like it kind of honestly like fuels your fire. To be honest with you, like it's like, all right, cool. So I'm glad you said that, because 5 years or 2 years or 3 years from now, you're gonna look like a fucking idiot. Like, unfortunately, like,
love it.
I love that.
Mitch, what did you write about Tanner?
Yeah, I'm seriously looking this shit up right now.
Oh. No.
No, I'm just kidding.
And it's never like in bad blood. It's just like, you're wrong. You're wrong.
You get that chip on your shoulder.
Yeah, exactly. And it's nothing like, oh, well, fuck you, fuck this. And it's like, no, it's like, I'm gonna go in and I'm just gonna prove you wrong. Simple. because of the competitive nature I have, I'm going to prove you wrong. No hard feelings.
I'm reading your
2021.
I'm reading your 2021 write up right now on Prospects Live. Do you see who they compared you to?
Who? Greinke?
Yeah.
It's wrong.
So who would you, if you had to make a comp, or just next year you're in Kannapolis throwing gas, like how would you describe for someone that's never watched you pitch, like your style of pitching?
Obviously, Rod Beck. Oh, wait, sorry, never mind.
I don't know. Like, I'm not huge into comps, but I feel like I'm more of a power arm, so I'd have to go. I mean, if I'm going off mechanics, stuff like that, close to like a Shane Bieber, I'd say.
I like
but
it.
Off of pure stuff, Tanner McDougal.
I like that.
There you go. That's fun.
All right, follow-up question real quick, because I'm looking through all this shit right now. How tall are you?
I'm 6'5".
Okay, because Perfect Games got you at 6'6".
Well, it's because $30.
30 bucks.
Yep. You gave someone $30 to
No,
make
I
you
didn't give
6'6".
anybody $30. Well, if it helps,
Sting operation.
MLB has my birthday wrong. If it helps,
Oh,
MLB has my birthday at April 3rd. It's April 9th.
You have to make sure. You have to make sure to tell. You have to make sure to tell the White Sox too that they spell your name right.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
There's been some issues.
That's the worst too. I'll get questions like, "Your dad played in the big leagues with the Dodgers?" I'm like, "Nope, not Mac."
I was gonna ask you
Not
how many
Mac.
times have you been asked like, oh, your dad used to pitch for the White Sox?
Actually,
like, nope.
I had scouts mess it up.
Oh,
I'm like, dude, it's literally two different spellings.
yeah.
Your dad played at Wake Forest, right? No, my dad played at Taft Community College. Like, you're way off.
My dad, not only did he pitch with the Cardinals organization, on his off days, he played first with the Cardinals organization. I didn't even know that until a couple years ago. Like, I actually had no idea your dad actually was a position guy for a second too.
Yeah, well, he was drafted as a first baseman.
Mm-hmm.
And then, I mean, obviously, hitting's very hard in pro ball.
Yes.
So turn him into obviously a pitcher. But also for all of the fans and stuff like that, don't be quick to judge people on their hitting. This shit's hard.
Yeah,
you got a Latin American who is 6'3", throwing 100, has no clue where it's going. He throws one at your brain. Next one's on the black. Like, you'll see gradually as these prospects go up, they will start hitting better because they're getting more hittable pitches. When you're fearing for your life every night because you don't want to get hit in the sternum with 100 trying to bunt, it's hard to hit. So don't jump to conclusions, especially on prospects. I've seen a bunch of Twitter. I don't look at it all, but I've seen, oh, this guy's not hitting, blah 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 blah. It's like, go watch him in person, because it's way different. Like even, I mean, Colson's going crazy this year, crazy.
Yeah,
and people
Fitz
were like,
talking
"Oh,
about
he
him.
didn't hit
Keep
that
talking
well last
about
year in the ACL." It's like, dude, the kid got drafted where he got drafted for a reason. He's a stud.
Should have gone one pick higher. Should have gone one pick higher.
You still butthurt about that?
Yeah,
big
time.
Not get
Big
over
time.
that anytime soon.
He's actually sitting on a rubber donut right now because his ass hurts so much.
If Jordan
should
Wicks
be.
isn't like a
He
Hall of
better be
Famer, Kevin's gonna
Is
let
it
everyone
chapped?
know.
Is it chapped?
It's I got the flag going. Yeah.
You got some A&D?
Yeah, I got a little got a right here. Yeah. And the Cubs, of course, decided they were going to just draft the youth pastor Tobey Maguire Spider-Man instead of
Yeah,
Colson
who'd they take?
Jordan Wicks, who looks like a 29-year-old.
Oh yeah, the guy with the glasses.
Mm-hmm.
He's good. He's starting to figure it out, but
Yeah.
he's also 23 now, so a little different than Colin Montgomery, as the Jumbotron said it at Guaranteed Rate Field.
Yeah. All right. Well, Tanner, thank you so much for your time. Everybody, be on the lookout for Tanner. Tanner, right now, MLB's got you ranked as the 18th.
And we've got Zoe's internet ranked as the 14th.
Froze up on us.
Dude, frozen right now.
Got too nervous.
Sometimes he just takes a while to process the words and the numbers. Oh, there he is.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I froze. Yep, told you the internet was shitty.
We got your 18th.
prospect. Yeah, guys, 18th top prospect. We look forward to watching you climb that ladder. Like I said before we went live, we have a history of guys coming on the show and then seeing a little bump. So I said you wake up tomorrow and all of a sudden that curve is dropping a couple more inches, or you got a couple extra velos on that fastball. You know where that came from.
Well, once I start throwing the curve, then we'll see.
All right. Well, you got some people to prove wrong. I'm reading your write up here on this one. I'm deep into Tanner McDougal write ups right now. So you gotta.
I'm 4chan right now. Jesus.
Yeah.
You just gotta let your play talk. That's how it is. That's how it is for the kids too.
I think you had A+ answers to those questions. But
don't
Tanner,
be that guy that's running your mouth, making bird noises in the dugout. Okay, go out and play.
I feel like there's a story behind
that. Don't be a professional. Don't be a professional at holding up the pole in high school. Find a way to get on the field.
I like that.
If you can't do drama club or something, because.
All right, Tanner. Well, when you're as you make your journey through majors, as long as this show is still kicking, we'd love to have you check in with us periodically, man.
Of course.
And obviously, we wish you nothing but the best. We're going to be following along closely. Go out there and give them hell, man.
Yeah, thank you guys again. I enjoyed it.
Thanks for coming on, Bambi.
Of course.
Thanks, man.
All right. That was Tanner. What a great guy, man. You were right, Fids. Absolutely great kid. Hopefully, we can get him back on the show as he makes his way through. And yeah, that was fantastic.
First post-interview question. Kevin, what the hell did you say to
what
Tanner
did you do to this kid, dude?
The funniest part is I'm not kidding. Like when I said that, because our coaching staff had all known him since he was a kid, like he was born, like a baby, like sperm. We knew him when he was a sperm, probably. And
that's weird.
Literally.
All right, so it was that. That's what you said.
I came over to his freshman year. Was my first year at Silverado too. After I came over from Green Valley, and I've known the Silverado coaching staff. Coach Witt's been my mentor since I was 22 years old myself. So like I've known them forever, but. The joke was, as soon as I got in there, they're like, Fids, because of that, Tanner's yours. Like you're on Tanner duty. And it was basically the entire time. So whenever Tanner would do something, because Tanner would go out and, Tanner's he's goofy. He's awesome. Like in that sense, like he's a hard nose when he has to be he knows the switch. When the switch is on, he's a half a prick on the bump, done. But when he's not, he's hilarious. And which would get us into trouble a little bit because, again, I was on Tanner. So anytime Tanner might do something, hey, Fiddler, go get your son. Even though his dad is literally probably in the clubhouse, if he was, because his dad helped us coach a lot of the times. Mike would coach with us in the summer, even his dad. But it was, Fiddler, go get your son. And every time he'd make a mistake, Fiddler, go get your son. And then, post practice, Tanner and I would stand at the back and,
right?
But did he post something?
Yeah, Yumper made another meme about the show. Anyways.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
You were right, Fitz, though. That kid, he's awesome, man. I will root for that kid now for the rest of his career. What a great dude. And the fact that he went out to his car to do the interview, that was awesome.
They're a great family, dude. Like that's the thing I said with the draft. He's coming from a pedigree of good people. He's coming from a group of people that never let him off the hook either. And he was never treated like he was never coddled. He's always been, his dad's a hard ass, man. His dad's a local legend here as far as a baseball player is concerned. And there are stories upon stories. And with Tanner and their family, his mom is a fantastic. She's hilarious too. She'll give it just as easily too. Like you don't fuck with her. She's probably tougher than all three of the boys. And so, and his son or his little brother coming up, Tyler's coming up. That's why I kept saying Tyler, because I've said Tyler's name so much lately because he's starting to kind of up that little level.
Does he play?
He's all over too. Does he swing from the left side? I can't remember. I feel like I don't think he's going to pitch obviously in some way, shape, or form. But Tanner almost kind of got relegated to pitch duty early. He played the outfield for us. He could play third base. He played a little short for us. He's a good first baseman, actually. He actually played a really good defensive first base as a guy. But just pitching obviously was going to be the money, the meal ticket. So, but I mean, God, you're a professional athlete. Of course, he could go out there and do it. And so,
Yeah.
and he had a really good teammate. I mean, he Chris Cortez over at University or Texas A&M, who was a guy pitching the College World Series this year, throwing 98, 99. Got his first pitching ninja this year, but they were teammates. I mean, so we got to roll out those two guys, 1 and 2, in our rotation. And when they were juniors, when the shutdown happened, we were in first place. I think Tanner had just gotten the W against Basic when they were ranked like 28th or 15th in the country, and we had just knocked them down and taken first place. So just a cool kid, good family. Those guys are great though. Like they're good people. They are 100% a perfect family for White Sox fans. I'll just say that. Because if you put Dukes in the 108, you put his dad in the 108, and he'll probably be the center of attention. And ain't nobody gonna pick Dukes.
So we do have some business to discuss. First things first, Ozzy versus Heyman. Who wins in a fight?
Oh, Ozzy, I would, no doubt.
I gotta go Ozzy.
He's got hands like in his 60s.
I'm putting a mortgage on Ozzy. I think they should do a trial by combat where they each get to pick a fighter.
So I'm putting a restraining order if I'm John Heyman. I don't want any part of that.
Yeah. I feel like Ozzy's
just put both their feet in a nice big vat of quicksand and just shut the hell up because they're both.
I mean, I am not a John. I stopped following Heyman a long time ago.
He was getting a little testy on Twitter too. If you look at his replies, he was responding to a lot of trolls on Twitter.
Yeah, I don't follow him anymore, so I'd have to look. But yeah, I mean, he's not a big fan favorite in White Sox Twitter. He's kind of a dick. He also said out loud that he thinks anytime the batter's hands move towards the pitcher, it should be called a strike. I mean,
Wrong.
Bye, John. Oh man, that was so immature. It was so unprofessional all the way across the board. But it's okay to say both guys were stupidly unprofessional in that. That was kind of embarrassing. And I do like that Ozzy tried to if I put a GoFundMe for some random person that I'm trying to support after all that shit, while you're all here on my page, GoFundMe, I'm not really that bad a person. No, you are. You insulted Rick Renteria.
A little bias from Kevin there. No, I want to say it. You don't like Ozzy again.
Wait, who's GoFundMe did he? No,
I think that was from the off-duty police officer who was shot.
He's from the neighborhood. He's not shot and killed, but
that was randomly he was like, hey.
Yeah, he's a kid and he's paralyzed from the waist down. That's a horrible situation. I'm glad Ozzy put that up, but I get what you're saying, Fitz. I understand. You're not down.
Like Ricky Renteria. Why you had to insult Ricky Renteria to insult Tony La Russa? That's where I had the problem.
Insult Ricky Renteria.
Tell him because
you got to get this out of your head, bro.
The exchange that you and Kevin had on Twitter. Everyone's like, no. Even though I didn't see it and you did, and I'm telling you what happened, this is what I believe.
He didn't. So, Fitz, I'm just telling you, man. Did you watch the rant at all?
He could just keep Ricky Renteria's name out of his mouth. That's all.
Yeah, but see, that's the problem, though, Kevin. You're wrong here, bud. And you know I love you, and you know I'll tell you when you're wrong here. He wasn't insulting Ricky. If you watch the whole segment, he's saying the White Sox should have never fired Ricky Renteria.
The guy that he used to openly lobby for his job on the air for? That guy?
It's not, you're taking shit too deep, man. I'm telling you, you got to take things at the surface level here, though. Ozzy said repeatedly, though, that he's still friends with Ricky, that he respects Tony, like all these things. He's not, I understand the lobbying for his job. Anyway, I get it. He probably is doing it for all I know, but I understand that. But in this particular time, on that date and time, during that segment of the show, he was not insulting Ricky Renteria.
I don't think he said anything wrong. First off, props to him for the fact they're on, NBC Sports Chicago.
He could easily be fired tonight.
Yeah, I mean, everything he said I think was true, but I think it did kind of come across I could see how it could be interpreted as kind of like a cheap shot.
I get that
because everything he was saying about Tony La Russa was how dead and lifeless this team looks, how they lack accountability, which is problems we heard when La Russa was manager too. I know Dallas Keuchel came out and was like, this clubhouse has a lot of accountability problems. So I think it kind of was a veiled shot at Ricky as he was trying to drag down. That's how I
didn't see it that way. I saw it as basically, why would you fire Ricky if you're just going to bring in this guy, this lifeless person to take over, if this is what you're going to replace him with? He said twice though too during the segment they should have never fired Ricky if this is what the replacement was. Because he said, I mean, that's all he was saying.
No, yeah, I don't think it was like
I feel
Mo.
like if you're sitting there, if you're talking about all the things that are wrong with that clubhouse, and then you say Tony La
I
Russa's
get that part.
that all that shit's because you're shitty. Like it's because if he was saying all these other things that were positive, and then he goes Ricky Renteria without a World Series or without a whatever, then that would come across as a not a knock. It would be as a compliment. But because he was going negative, and then he throws that in, how can it not be interpreted as this
no.
It's like saying like you play basketball like Philip Seymour Hoffman or something. I don't know.
Yeah.
I guess you just have to watch it, right?
Yeah, and I mean, I guess it's open to interpretation, and we see that a lot. I didn't see it as a shot at Ricky at all. I think
the other thing with Ozzy too, like there's been plenty of times where he's stuck up for Tony La Russa.
Oh yeah, he was one of the first people to defend him when he got hired, and I don't think, and that's why I give him because the Heyman thing was very unprofessional of him, but that's just kind of like who Ozzy is. That's been his MO. But everything he said in that post game shows, but what fans have been saying for weeks now, like there was no lies detected during that entire rant. And I think because he's gone on the record to defend Tony, and I think he honestly does look at him like as a mentor. It was personal for him, and so he kind of flew off the handle there. But I mean, everything he said was true.
He literally said what I've been saying on the show for almost a month. And he even brought up like they do the cameras to the dugout and it looks like lifeless. I'm like, bro, that's like word for word. Ozzy watches the show. But anyways, I was just like, it's gotten to that point. And I mean, you get these Bob Nightingale reports, and although you brought it up a bunch of times where fans in general, but in this case, White Sox fans, they like to cherry pick from Bob on what they take as real news and what they take. If Bob said there's a strong rumor going around right now that Juan Soto's coming to the White Sox next year, everyone would be like, Bob's the inside guy. Bob talks to them all. Bob knows it all. He's right. He's got this. Bob says that there's shit going sideways in this locker room. It's Bob doesn't know shit. Yep. Bob's talking out of his ass. But then think about it for a second, though. With a report like this from Bob, if his source is Kenny and
Jerry.
Well, he said on the 670 the scores from other players is where he other players were like talking about it, which that I do believe because a team like the White Sox, I think the quote was like players are going around like, yo, like what's going on, and players in the White Sox were telling him this.
Right, but what I'm saying though is for a guy who literally makes his money off of intel from Kenny Williams and Jerry Reinsdorf, where does he benefit by putting out this information?
Right. That was at this point. I mean, Sox fans should know by now. We know national reporters like who their people are. Like we know, John Heyman, who's this guy? It's always going to be Boris. Boris needs needs to hype up his free agents. He'll go to Heyman. Heyman will tweet stuff out.
That's one of the reasons why I stopped following him because it gotten so bad.
Anything inside White Sox that has happened since I started paying attention on a daily basis to baseball news stuff has been from Bob Nightingale, who his two guys are Jerry Reinsdorf and Kenny Williams.
Yes.
Who was the first guy who even brought up the possibility that Tony La Russa was going to be fired by the White Sox?
White Sox win.
Oh, there you go. Good vibes.
Let's go.
Split. That was
We're back, baby, for the 10th time this season.
Liam Hendricks actually got to come in and get a save.
There you go. There you go.
And he actually looked pretty good doing it, striking mother truckers out. But go ahead.
Although what you said too, at the same time, okay, and we call these Eddie Haskells. You look at a clubhouse and you hope that you don't have Eddie Haskells. And if those of you, because you guys are all young, have never seen Leave It to Beaver, Eddie Haskell is a character on Leave It to Beaver that is when the parents are around, the adults are around, he's like the most honest, the Boy Scout, the best kid, always the best behavior. All the adults love him. But why can't you be more like Eddie Haskell? And the minute the adults leave the room, he's like the worst. He's evil. He's the worst person in the entire world. And so we all call it, if you get an Eddie Haskell in the clubhouse, it could destroy everything. And in this clubhouse, we saw it last year. They were pumped. They were having fun. They're having a blast. The old guy, Tony La Russa, was there when they were having just as much fun. So obviously he wasn't discouraging it. And now this year, they're not doing the same thing. And now all of a sudden, Tony La Russa told him to stop doing it because he yelled at Yerman Mercedes last year. That's not how it works. But someone in that clubhouse has changed the dynamic. And this is where I guess I'm leading with this, because I told you guys I have a suspect. And it's not who you guys think. I think the Eddie Haskell in this clubhouse is no longer in the clubhouse. And it's not Ozzy, even though I was joking about that earlier.
Dallas.
I think Dallas Keuchel planted a seed over the last year and a half, and Dallas Keuchel's stench has still permeated. And you can't eradicate something that's spoiled. It takes a while to get, like, if you leave something in your fucking fridge and you lose it and you don't know where the hell it is and it goes spoils and it goes bad and your fridge smells, there's not enough baking soda in a box to get rid of that immediately. It takes a while to purge that shit too. And I think that Dallas Keuchel left his stench. He left his leavings on the White Sox for being the shittiest teammate I can remember in a long time, observing any team. And he's probably doing it now wherever he's at in Arizona. He got lit by, gave up a RBI single to Yerman Mercedes yesterday in a weird
and a home
run. Anyway, so, but I think that personally, there's an Eddie Haskell that's leaking. That someone tells another clubhouse, maybe it was Keuchel left and then started running his fucking mouth. Whatever it is, somebody is in this clubhouse that might be under the influence of, say, still a Dallas Keuchel. You think that Dallas Keuchel doesn't text some of these guys still? You think he's not just being a douchebag, even though he left the White Sox, he's going to stop being a douchebag? I think that there's some problems here, that there are one or two people in the clubhouse. And I initially, maybe because he's a new guy, I might have blamed AJ Pollock, and I've been guaranteed that it's definitely not AJ Pollock.
Right,
No,
yeah.
I don't
It's
think
not
Great
AJ
dude.
Pollock.
Great dude. And so that was just guilt by association. But what is it in the clubhouse that changed from this year to last year? And you got to look at the change in dynamics. Or
The winning percentage. That's the biggest thing.
Thank you, Mitch. That's what it is.
You're not going to be having fun when you're losing this many games. Plain and simple.
But they haven't even lost that many games. They're 500. I mean, it's not like it's not like
Kevin,
they're
they were
expectations
worlds.
to do though in a big market like Chicago. Like it's like
They're
they're like
World Series contenders, Kevin. They're
That's
not
true.
even at 500.
in the worst division in baseball too. Like
second worst.
No, record-wise, the AL Central is the worst division in baseball.
Second worst in head-to-head. When you look at the head-to-head matchups between the Central and the Central, AL Central has dominance over the NL Central. So,
But I mean,
but you have to
I'm with you,
understand.
Mitch. And Steve Stone said, and like circling back and I guess putting a bow on the whole Nightingale stuff. And I mean, even before him, Steve Stone, who works for the team, he was calling out or questioning the leadership for the team. So like it wasn't just like a one-time national reporter getting stuff from other, like this is like obviously a known thing within the organization. If you have your well-respected, even though he's a dickhead to some fans,
I mean,
fans
yeah,
are annoyed by him. You have one of your well-respected voices going on number one, number two, whatever radio station in the city, being like, yeah, no, there's probably some leadership issues. So
and
obviously
honestly,
it's a thing.
you can see why, because like the accountability thing has come up a bunch. Like when Rick Renteria was a manager, same with Tony La Russa, it's carried over. And you ask yourself, like, who are the leaders in this team? Like Dallas Keuchel, I think, was brought in because he was supposed to be a leader on the team. Clearly, he wasn't. Lance Lynn, I think, is, but when you're throwing once every 5 days, it's like hard. It has to be position guy. Jose Abreu, I don't think it's in his personality. He's just more of a lead by example guy. Tim, I mean, who knows at this point? Grandal's out. Like, there's no, I don't know.
I'm sorry. I'm not laughing at your point, Mitch. I'm just laughing because all of a sudden the little dog just popped into my screen.
Right, it's just like
she's just chilling.
You brought up Tim Anderson, Mitch, and like I think that's another big thing.
Like,
who's the guy who's like the energy guy? Who's the guy hyping everybody up? It's
and
always
he
been
looks
Tim Anderson.
lifeless out there.
Lifeless.
And I mean,
Things.
he got some things going on,
Right.
And
The key
Like,
thing
it's
is
always
that
messy to
video,
talk
like
about
that,
guys'
the Twitter
personal
video
lives.
that everyone's bringing up, like the announcement, the fact he didn't stand up, like everyone in the locker room stopped to like what they were doing pregame to acknowledge his accomplishment, and he just slumped back in his chair. He's unimpressed. The fact that he just got named an all-star starter, like that's a big deal. And he doesn't give a shit. He doesn't even stand up, and someone told him to stand up, and he just blows like that.
This goes to something that Tanner actually kind of touched on this too. Some of these guys don't know how to lose. They've never lost.
Yeah.
They don't know how. They don't know how to lose. And some of these guys,
veterans do.
but a few. Well, yeah, but not a lot. Not Eloy. Not Luis Robert. not AJ Pollock, these guys are all coming from other places. And the fact is, these guys come up. Look, I'm sorry, I'm going to say this. This is why I really actually do like what the Cubs are doing with the minor league organization right now is they are stressing winning the goddamn thing at every fucking level. The White Sox, I feel like with these prospects, has just been a developmental ground. And hey, who gives a shit? Win or lose, go get your reps in, go get your 4 at bats, go home. Who cares? We lost 10-2. So what? And if you're going through a system like that where it's not stressed, when you get to the show, you don't, now all of a sudden it does fucking matter. And now it really does matter. And now you're losing. You're like, oh, I don't know what to, like, it actually matters. Like, holy shit, winning and losing, actually, this is it. If I don't win, there's no higher level. I'm not going to a 5th level. It's it. And some of these guys aren't handling it well because they've never actually gotten down and dirty in the mud and learned how to like dust themselves off and actually get right back on the gosh darn horse. Some guys can. But they don't, and it shows when they look, their body language tells you everything. And I know, although you hate when I bring up body language, this is exactly why body language matters.
But I mean, look where the White Sox are now. After salvaging a split in this series, which I did not think was going to happen, they go and now they get a 4-game series in Minnesota before the All-Star break. They can win 3 out of those 4 games. They go into the break like 2.5 games out of first place in the division.
Yep.
That changes everything.
Days off to marinate on it too.
That changes everything because if you're 2 games out of the division at the break, your plan of attack at the trade deadline shifts.
Oh yeah.
I mean, because if it goes the other way and they get swept, worst case scenario, they get swept. Now they're 9 games back. Now your trade deadline. It is a big 4 games right here. I know we've been saying it about.
This is how huge it is. Just like the one game. If the White Sox are going to, like you said, if they win 3 or 4, they make up 2 games. Right now, they're 5 games out heading into that series. Yep. So let's say they make up 2 games, they're 3 games back. If they split, they're just right where they were when they came in, 5 games back. Not the worst, but at that point, Lawrence Holmes just made a great point. At that point, if you just split, you're just burning games off the schedule.
You know they're
going in there and didn't take advantage.
It's been the story of that White Sox. If I had to place a significant bet, they're going to split that series. It's just
for you guys as White Sox fans too, because Joe, you just touched on it too. Like, yeah, maybe they sweep. Okay, just go with me here on the positive train, right? They sweep and they're down 2 games going into the All-Star break.
No, everybody. If they sweep, they'd be 1 game out.
Okay, so say they do that, or maybe they win 3. Is it 4? It's a 4-game set, right?
Yeah.
We'll take 3 or 4, right? So we'll just say 3 or 4 to be like optimistically, like realistic.
2 games back.
Will all of the huffing and hewing and hawing about Dylan Cease not being in the All-Star game actually come back to benefit the White Sox because he gets to shut it down for a few days and actually rest and relax? It's going to be it's actually a blessing. Maybe next year he can go. This year there's so much at stake. I don't think it's a bad thing that the White Sox kind of flew into the All-Star game a little bit under radar, and really they're not sending a lot of dudes, so these dudes can actually shut it down and re-clear the mechanism and come back. Second half is like it's a whole new semester, right? I mean, the grades don't change, unfortunately, but you can kind of turn that page a little bit.
Nothing wrong with having a chip on your shoulder too. That's a little extra motivation. And then for the pitching staff, I know they're talking about clicks in the clubhouse. It was fun trying to go through, find the click. I know the pitching staff, like they're all like the starters all seem like pretty close. Yeah, it's all extra motivation for them too. I'm not saying that's a click, but like now you got like a rallying point too. Like our guy got screwed over. He's got an extra chip on his shoulder. That could be. You're right. I think it could be a blessing in disguise.
I mean, that's for those guys too. And you want these guys to. You said it too. The FTW should be the motto for the White Sox for the rest of the season. Fuck the world. We're coming for everybody. FTW. Let's go. And if you can buy that. You've got to have something to grasp onto. You as a team, as a unit, there's got to be some sort of collective cry that everybody rallies together to do. And I don't think the White Sox have found the same path.
I'm going to be that guy right now. I'm with you with the fuck the world stuff. I just don't see a guy like Tony La Russa being the leader of a team that's motto is fuck the world.
Yeah.
He's a guy that tried to fight Dusty Baker multiple times. I mean, he's
like 20 years ago, Kevin. 20 years ago, Kevin. Like that's what I'm saying,
he had
man.
some beef with him last year in October too.
You gotta stop with that, man. I know you love Tony La Russa and his Cardinals days, but dude, come on.
It's just I don't see Tony. He's saying the right things again in his pregame tonight. He was saying, "I've never wanted to win more in my life," and all this other stuff, and it's great, but then we're getting reports from Shane Raridan from 670 Score, who has also proven to have good sources inside the organization, said Tony's making it to the All-Star break, but not the second half of the season. But he also said he replied very quickly to his tweet, he's not going to get fired. So
maybe Tony's
Well,
done. That's the only way it's happening is if Tony's done.
and we've said that
Yeah.
multiple times on this show. But maybe Tony is taking a step back and just like, I'm too old for this shit, man. Like,
Good. I mean,
By the way, and with that
good
being
for
said,
him.
like
Yes.
with
absolutely.
that being said, it's still on the at the end of the day, Tony Russo like matters sometimes like on the fringes, but it's all up to the players and the
Oh,
talent.
100%.
And,
Yes. Oh,
and
yeah.
unfortunately, staying healthy, which I mean, Eloy again.
Again. He pulled up. Apparently, it's just tightness, but like you said, I mean, in all reality, those don't mean shit. So
Was it
we'll
his
see.
right leg that was injured the first
I
time, or
don't.
was that the left?
I don't know. I don't know.
What part of him wasn't injured? That's the
Yeah,
better.
I'm going to say
And the other thing, Eloy coming back, I know he had that home run against the Twins, but I know he had like
he's been struggling too. He's been like
been struggling
190 or
too.
something like that. Like he's struggling. I don't know why they had Vaughn behind him in the lineup. They should have flipped that, and Eloy should have been DH.
You know what? I have to bring this up. I think we talked about it like 2 weeks ago, right before one of the last All-Star voting stuff came out.
Mhm.
We put the pinwheels and Ivy Jinx on Andrew Vaughn. He's been struggling a little.
Dude, he's hitting fucking Hazel rockets.
He's hitting it hard.
The
Yeah,
BABIP bad luck.
Yeah, he's got the bad pit bad luck. That's where he's at. But hey, they got 7 innings out of Lucas Giolito. If he's back, that's huge for the White Sox.
He actually
Two out
he's
of his
been
last
his
three.
last 2 ones. This Tigers start, like the line didn't show it, but he pitched well in that game too. They just kind of let him hang out to dry a bit too long. And Joe Kelly sucks, but
he went 6 1/3, no earned runs. He only gave up 5 hits, 5 strikeouts. He only walked 1 guy, which is very big.
Dude, yeah.
91 pitches, 59 for strikes. That was like perfect timing because it came up on the post-game show as we were talking about this. But no, I mean, if
did he get hurt? Was it his right? It was his right, wasn't it? Previous.
Eloy?
Yeah.
I believe it was
Literally, right. The answer to which leg did Eloy hurt is yes. He's hurt. I mean, he's hurt both, whatever. But if they can get Lucas Giolito, if they can get Michael Kopech straightened out, which I'm sure they will, that arm is still not 100%.
He's still producing though, which is amazing.
He just has that 1 bad inning, and then he'll go 6 more solid. But people just harp on the 1 because, well, actually, it just, I mean, that'll.
One person.
When your offense isn't scoring, 1 bad inning can cost your team a game. But I mean, they got Cy Cueto on the mound tomorrow to start off the series versus
American League team. He should thrive.
I mean, Cueto's been what a pickup that guy's been.
Just do not throw him against a National League team. That's all. That's all you got to do.
So when you get to the World Series, Cueto off the staff.
That's fine.
Especially the Dodgers. You don't want to see the Dodgers.
The other big thing though was seeing Liam Hendricks come out tonight and just mow. Liam Hendricks he's 12 up, 12 down. The last 12 batters he's faced.
Thank God knock on wood. There's some issues. The arm rumors, the TJ rumors are floating around.
Oh, I know. I've never been so happy to be wrong.
Oh, when he came back against the Twins and he struck out the heart of their order too. Right. He struck out the side. It's like, oh, he's so back, which is good to see because. Yep. Looked concerning there for a while.
Now this crazy asshole's talking about pitching for Australia in the World Baseball Classic. It's like, bro, please.
Please don't.
Someone tie him up. Like, no, dude. Like, man, please don't do that. But Jose Abreu's hitting 300. I mean, Luis Robert, it's gotten to the point where it's absolutely comical to me. If he doesn't hit like a double or a home run at every at-bat, there's like 30 tweets like, Luis Robert sucks. It's like, holy shit. You got to calm down. Luis Robert
didn't come in as hyped up as the next Mike Trout, and he's going to be like, and we put pretty big expectations on him too, just because of the skill set there. But like, if it was anyone else, if it was Danny Mendick hitting this way, I'd be like, this guy, he's raking out there. I mean, it's just because of the expectations.
Yeah, and then, I mean, Josh Harrison's been doing exactly what they brought him into now. I mean, he's producing. He's not been stellar yet.
Is he winning over yet, sir?
He had an error. He had an error tonight, but that's why how the Guardians got their 1 run. But again, so you got Harrison, you got to think Tim Anderson, he's got to, I don't know if he's got to go talk to somebody or what's going on with him. He's just a ground ball double play machine right now. He'll get his one hit a game still. It's just, I don't know. He don't.
He's going to benefit from getting out of that locker room and getting into an all-star clubhouse and hanging around with a bunch of elites. Let's be honest here. That's going to bring
fair.
it.
And I think that's fair.
You can have a good vacation.
That's the only people he's hanging out with.
Yeah, Yohan Moncada. I'm going to sweep that under the rug. Yohan Moncada, he's hitting well, especially with runners in scoring position, which the White Sox need desperately.
Hey guys, I'm not going to get into the details of it, but when there's personal stuff, you have to imagine at some point he's thinking about something. He looks nothing like the player that he's been.
Oh, you're right.
You're
Keep bringing it up. It keeps cracking me up.
No, it's
watch out for the Creek Chasers.
No, he looks very distracted. Like
he's literally his batting line. I don't know what he did tonight.
He had one hit. That's what he does. He gets one hit a game.
He was comparable to what Nick Madrigal was doing with the Cubs this year. He was hitting like 230 with a 250 on base and like a 260 slugging. Terrible since he's come back.
Oh, he hasn't even sniffed like a fly ball to the warning track. It's all ground balls or line drives right over the second or shortstop's head.
And I think it's the annoying.
And that's
approach.
fine, but it's just it's not. It doesn't feel like Tim Anderson right now. Like,
yeah,
something feels very off about everything. I mean, luckily
Howard Ankin. That's who we're blaming.
Yeah, for the White Sox, luckily, like I said, Jose Abreu now, he's back a 300 hitter. And then Luis Robert, Andrew Vaughn's hitting the ball really hard. AJ Pollock's been coming alive a little bit here for the White Sox, made a really good defensive play.
Evan Sheets, too, has been sneaky good.
Ever since he went down to AAA and worked with their hitting coach. Yeah. Did you see that interview?
Yeah, I
did. Someone tweeted out that interview, and oh my goodness!
I don't think I'll say this though. Firing Frank Menachino at this point in the season, it's not going to do him any good. Like, it's hard to make adjustments in season anyway. Like, firing the hitting coach, I think the Cubs did it a couple years back too. Like, I don't think it really.
Chilly.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure he's part of the problem, but I don't think firing him now does us any good.
Yeah, Tim Anderson has 51 at bats. He has 10 hits in July. I mean, he's still batting 250 on the year. Tim Anderson has not hit a home run this year.
This month.
Sorry.
Yes.
This month.
I was gonna say, come on.
Yeah, no, this month.
No, it's been ever since he's come back from the injured list. He hasn't. I think he's hit one home run, maybe.
He's got 5 home runs this season, 21 RBIs. He's actually batting. Oh, I'm sorry. Tim Anderson's batting 310 right now. He was batting 250. That was just today.
I think he was batting like 360 when he came back.
He's batting 310. I mean, I don't know though. It just feels off. As someone that watches every game, all this shit, it just feels off. And I know it's easy to just sit here and blame like, oh, it's all this off the field shit. But I mean, I feel like you'd be kind of naive not to. You know what I mean? It's got to be.
I do have to say this Cleveland series, I forget. I think it might have been the first game of the doubleheader. He hit 3 very hard balls. I think 2 of them did go out to the warning track. I mean, and that's the MO on him. Everybody knows that for the most part, he's going to try to take every pitch to right field.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe it's a thing of like teams are just positioned
all right,
better.
Fine, Yumper. Fidge, you did all the homework. Who are the Sox and the Cubs taking in the draft?
Yep. Oh, I actually am reading another mock draft
who do you think they're going to take?
Who's your guy?
I know we could all look up. We could all look up mock drafts. Who do you think they're going to take?
The Cubs are drafting 7th, so it really depends on how the draft flushes out.
Seems like there's some talent in this draft.
There is like what Tanner actually said, talking about the kid from Georgia. What's his name?
Tamar?
No. Tamar.
No,
yeah, Tamar.
Tamar Johnson. Yeah, his shortstop out of Mays High. Going to the Pirates, that's a good one. I mean, this draft, if you think about it too, you've got obviously a lot of pedigree, so you've got a lot of people. I've seen the guy Brooks Lee projected to go to the Cubs, and on this mock draft, I see him projected to go 1st overall. And he's just a weird. Nobody knows what Baltimore is going to do, so Baltimore kind of holds this whole card with that first pick that it kind of is going to set everything in motion. But for me, I have 2 guys that I'm really high on in the Cubs, and I really hope they fall. Obviously, there's no way that Drew Jones, there's no way that Jackson Holiday, and there's no way that the Tamar Johnson's going to drop to the Cubs. But I'm a huge huge fan of, his name's Cam Collier. He's a 17-year-old kid. He actually left high school as a sophomore, followed the Bryce Harper route, and played a 17-year-old played junior college baseball this past year and played really well with competition at a Chippewa College. And he it's one of the best programs in the country. They played high level baseball, and he was one of their best players. And if he were to fall for the Cubs, this is the thing I like about it most, is obviously his age. He's going to be drafted by the Cubs. He's going to be 17. He's not. It's very rare that in the U.S. you get like a kid that went through the high school system and whatever in the U.S. that you can take at that age. You can get it in an international draft. It's much easier. But this is a kid that's going to have a high ceiling and so much time to develop. He's already got a 70-plus arm. He's a third baseman. He's a good defender. He's 6'2". He's going to grow some more. I mean, he's only 17. He's still going to fill out into that man muscle. And so that's one. And so I like that. So if this somehow falls to the Cubs there, now Louisville, he's committed to Louisville, but pay the guy. He won't go to Louisville. You give him money, give him his slot. We're good. I made a joke about Jed being pretending to be the smartest guy in the room, but I actually do think that it was kind of a dig at him. But there's a player that I'm high on as well. He's projected actually like somewhere between 10 and 20, but I think is a steal to get now. His name is Dylan Lesko. He's a right-handed pitcher out of Buford, Georgia. He's a high school kid. Again, another high school kid. But every scout that I've talked to says it's the best changeup they've ever seen from a high school kid ever in their career. Whether they're young, old scouts, all of them that have seen this kid say he has the best changeup they have ever seen from a high school kid. It's almost every single one of them. And I've heard he throws somewhere between 94, 96. He was touching 97. The big thing about him that makes him drop a little bit in the draft, and this doesn't scare me at all, is that he underwent Tommy John surgery in April. Now, the big comp that I know Tanner said he hates comps. The comp that I've been seeing a lot is Lucas Giolito, who went 16th overall in 2012 to the Nats and threw one inning in the summer and blew his elbow out. Whereas this kid had the same thing. He got a little tightness in the forearm, and they said, you know what? It's a minor procedure for you. We're going to go ahead and do it now. So he might fall because of fear, but Tommy John doesn't scare me as much as it might scare some others. I think that if Dylan Lesko, if they can't get Collier, I would be ecstatic if they drafted the Lesko kid. I know he's projected somewhere between 10 and 20, but it's actually, I think, a really good pick. That's for the Cubs. Now with the White Sox, Tanner touched on the guy. Now I know you guys are making fun of me because you're seeing a different mock draft. The last mock draft I had him going 28th. If Justin Crawford, the kid that Tanner was talking about, Carl Crawford's son from Bishop Gorman High School here in Vegas, is available with the White Sox, 27th pick? 26 pick, excuse me. They have to take him. This is my Bryson Stott moment. This is my Andrew Vaughn moment. This is my Colson Montgomery moment. If that kid is available and the White Sox don't take him, burn the house down because they're fucking stupid. He runs a 6'1", 60. He's a fantastic defender. His arm is going to continue to grow, but he would be a very good get in that bottom third of the draft. And I think that he's going to be a very good Major League Baseball player one day.
MLB Pipeline, they had their latest mock draft come out Wednesday night. They have Collier going 7 to the Cubs. And then This is the name I brought up right before we started to record. What do you have you even heard of this name, Kevin? You know a lot better than me. They have White Sox number 26 overall. Tucker Toman, third baseman, Hammond High School, South Carolina.
Interesting. He's been projected down like the bottom 30s.
Dude, here's drafts, and let's see. Hold on. White Sox showed they were willing to change direction from previous drafts and look at prep bats like they did in taking Colson Montgomery last year in the first round. Okay.
That'd be a stretch. I don't think Tucker Toman falls into that first that top.
So that's at 26, and I think they have him overall ranked as the 35th ranked draft prospect, I guess.
Well, here's the monkey wrench in all of this, by the way. If the medicals come back, I think most of these teams, anywhere between, even the Cubs too, probably, Kumar Rocker, if his medicals come back, you take Kumar Rocker. You take him. Mm-hmm. I mean, he's going to be as close to Major League ready almost at this point. I mean, he threw pretty well in the independent league, just kind of burning time or whatever. That's a guy that if his medicals come back clear, you pounce. That guy's going to be a freak show. But if the medicals don't look good, obviously you don't just take him because of a name. They've got to come back. Someone has Kumar Rocker on there as well in the chat. Now I'm seeing that. But Kamar Rockers, he got drafted by the Mets last year, 10th overall pick, and he didn't sign, and they didn't like his post-draft physical, so they stuck away from him. This is the Mets, of course, that also gave us Pete Crow Armstrong for Javi Baez rental. So Mets don't always make the best decisions. He's got a number 2 upside starter. So there's a guy I'd look for the White Sox, and there's another guy too that might fall to the White Sox, and if he does, it's not a bad thing either. But his name is where'd he go? Shit. Brock Jones. Brock Jones, if he's somehow available, he had a really rough start for Stanford this year, but you're looking at more of a Vaughn type guy, except as an outfielder, more mature bat. He's a guy that projected to be a top 5 pick until he struggled at the beginning of the season. So I would take, guys that struggle. I'm still looking at stuff and looking at talent and at tools. If Brock Jones somehow slides down a little bit because of his slow start and his numbers don't look great statistically for Stanford, he's another guy that you can really hop on and be very happy with, because I think he'll make he'll be pretty close already.
So with I wanted to ask you this, Kevin. So the Cubs drafting at 7, unless they could do like something completely wild, like who knows? Is there any one player who, if they take this guy that you've seen maybe mocked around that area, that you would be like, I don't know about this one?
I saw this. That's a big old dog. Saw some dog cornhole right there.
Yep.
So is there a guy that around that slot that
you like? If the Cubs take that guy, you're like, I don't know about that one. Like that,
Or the
might,
Sox
maybe a
too.
reach. Or the Sox.
Do you have a guy like Vaughn or like one of these guys that you're like, this is that dude?
Crawford. That's Crawford is.
Oh yeah, he already went over that. So he already put his.
He's my Crawford. But again, we said there's a guy.
I'm asking the opposite. The guy who, if the Cubs take at 7, you're like, ugh.
Yeah, I mean, if the Cubs go out and they snag, let's see, here's a guy let me just look around real quick. I can't really judge most of these high school kids.
So, what do you think about Brooks Lee? That's a guy I've seen, Twitter talk. I have no idea, but Brooks Lee is a guy I've seen some fans be like, yeah, that'd be good. Other people like, no, stay away.
No, if Collier is available and they take Brooks Lee, I might be a little disappointed. But Brooks Lee's been projected as high as a 1 and then as low as a 10. But he has the best pure hitter. Brooks Lee's, apparently his bat is considered to be he had a 2-to-1 walk to strikeout, or 2.0 walk to strikeout rate all season for Cal Poly. He's a really good bat. He's not a long-term shortstop. He's a quick runner. He's got fast. He's probably a projectable third baseman. But I mean, if the Cubs got Brooks Lee, I'm not going to cry at all. I mean, I think behind, you got behind Drew, Jones, Johnson, Holiday, and Collier, I think that Brooks Lee probably slots in for me as probably my 4th or 5th top prospect. So I think the Cubs would be getting value at that pick if he's there.
Two more names. One, this guy I think has been like the fantasy for Cubs fans who's been following like mock drafts and just the entire draft process. At this point, I think there's no way he falls to 7, but there's been a lot of talk about catcher Kevin Parada.
You'll
what do you think about him?
You'll notice I left him off my list.
So you don't want him at all. So that's the guy. If he falls,
That's the guy.
That's the guy that you don't want at all.
If he falls, I mean, that means that Collier. But I just Parada versus a Collier or Lesko. No,
So what don't you like about what's?
He's already a grown catcher. I mean, he's got some wear and tear already on that body. So they really don't know the mileage. I don't necessarily. I mean, the last catcher the Cubs drafted in the first round was Kyle Schwarber, and Kyle Schwarber turned out to be a great hitter, and he's probably got a pretty good bat. He walks well, but I just
reminded me.
I don't like his stance, and I don't think it translates to a good major league. I don't know. I have some severe question. Maybe I'm out of line. I just have some severe question. Have you seen his stance?
I haven't seen his stance, but obviously he put up huge numbers. And there are question marks if he could even stay at catcher. I mean, it's like it kind of reminds us like of the Schwarber talk, where like big bat, can he still play at catcher at the major league level? But
see if I can get it here. Let me see. Here we go. I got this. Okay, I found one. I'm just gotta mute the.
So for this has been my draft analysis for the Cubs at number 7.
You ready? You want to see this?
Oh, go ahead with the Kevin Parada catcher.
Look at this. I mean, this is where my question mark is, because how are you going to hit anything on the inner half? But this is the Parada guy. Where'd he go, Mr. YouTube?
Whoa, that bat.
Oh, is that what is that bat doing?
No.
I mean, he gets to the right spot, but
yeah, why does he start? Whoa, buddy.
he's open, and he's coming in.
For those that are listening to the podcast and not watching this, he basically starts by scratching his ass with the bat.
Now, good job on him hitting a hanging curveball that looks like a freaking beach ball, but that's an off-speed pitch. Like
I think that's one thing where like an MLB team, like the developmental staff, can be like, "Hey, we're not doing that anymore."
Yeah, it's very noisy.
Hey, Kevin Youkilis had his whole thing.
Yeah,
that's the Greek god of walks, though. I mean, that's the exception.
Here you go. Like, I mean, he's where. I mean, you see the freeze frame. He's where he's supposed to be.
Right,
I mean, he
gets
is
there.
But can you do all that nonsense and let it translate against, like Tanner said, everybody's?
But I think obviously he'll start in the minors. It's not like he's going to go draft to MLB. Like I remember Anthony Rizzo when Anthony Rizzo made his debut with the Cubs, and he had already played a little with the Padres. Anthony Rizzo's stance changed. It was completely different to what it ended up being.
Mm-hmm.
So like stance, I get it. I mean, trust me, we all reacted to like, "Ugh, what is that?" But for me, I'm a big names guy. If I like your name, I think it's cool looking, just how it's written. I have one guy, Zach Nato.
I knew you were going to go there.
Love that dude's name. I have no clue if he's going to be good or not. I mean, again, the only thing I'm reading is just like what other people have, scouted from him. Love his name though.
Do you know what his team mascot was?
His team mascot, Campbell, right?
He's the They're the Camels. His team mascot is a camel.
The big thing on him was that, good arm, and he doesn't strike out much. So you got your Nick Madrigal replacement right there, too, because they keep touting the low strikeout rate. So there you go.
Yep. Two things, kind of not draft related, but Adam Hogue just tweeted out a video of Jose Abreu and Liam Hendricks after the White Sox just won, and you would think they were leaving a funeral. And he just said you could not tell that these guys just won a game. I think that's where everyone sees is the problem. But two, and I want to talk about this because I tweeted about it like 4 times today. Can we talk about how awesome this home run derby is going to be?
Oh, fantastic!
Do you see one exception?
Who?
Pujols shouldn't be there.
I bet you he puts on a show. Although I will take the over whatever you want to put his home run total at.
Either way, for his last year, the Pujols is getting screwed over. Like Derek Jeter got this huge farewell tour, and Pujols is one of the best hitters of the past. Like,
I don't mind Pujols in the All-Star game.
Shit. So I'm glad he's in the All-Star game. I'm glad he's doing the home run derby. He deserves a little recognition before.
I hope the EMTs are in the dugout ready to go because this dude's going to be out of gas after.
Oh no, that's fair. That's fair.
That's fair.
He's going to put on a show. He's going to hit like
his first
absolute nukes in the first round. Yeah. And then
you know what I'm mad though. I do agree.
Great field in the tournament.
I'm glad that Acuna decided to be in it. But
this is what you want the NBA dunk contest to be every year. You have the best players doing it.
But did you see what Juan Soto said?
Well, I'm sorry. One at a time. What, Aldo?
Did you see what Juan Soto said?
Huh.
Juan Soto was like, I'm just trying to hit the longest opposite field home run.
Why? That's not fun.
I don't know. That he just like, I'm like, yeah, hitting home runs is cool. But
what's his face? The dude that used to be a crackhead, and then he played for the Rangers. And then
Josh.
Dude, didn't he hit an absolute like opposite field nuke in Yankee Stadium during that home run derby when he put on that clinic?
Probably.
That's
the thing. I don't care if you hit the longest opposite field home run, Juan Soto. I just want you to hit a lot of home runs.
Yep.
Yeah, I just want to see bombs too.
I feel like that's going to hurt his number.
Look, Dodger Stadium is.
I don't think he's gonna go up there with the approach though. I'm taking it to right field, or opposite.
I don't know, Mitch. He's crazy.
This is all for naught because Kyle Schwarber is going to win the home run derby. He's going to win the home run derby. He should have won it last time.
You cannot count out Pete Alonso.
That's right. Fuck.
Good too, but I'm just saying Schwarber last time should have won the home run derby, but for some reason when Bryce was hitting, his dad didn't have to wait till the ball came down. So Bryce got 3, 4, 5 extra. Oh, because it was in DC too, wasn't it? Or Philly. Philly or DC or whatever.
It was Washington, it was DC.
And
I think it was his last year in Washington. Yeah,
I remember I was so livid. We were actually on a work trip with my fiance's company in Temecula, and I had been grilling and had a little bit too much vino by the fire. And when every time that Bryce Harper, like they made remember because they would stop Schwarber, they'd be like, stop, wait, and then Bryce would be going and Ron Harper's just out there just doop 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 doop. He's like, it was like an iron mic. There was no wait. The ball's in the air. Next pitch, ball's in the air, and they were fine with it. And he beat Schwarber by what? Was it one? I think it was one, wasn't it?
It was like the walk off. Yeah,
it was right at the end too. And
swing off. Whatever.
Schwarber really plays well for that. Again, so does obviously
Alonso
over in New York. But I love Schwarber for this one because he's lefty. And I feel like it's easier for lefties in these home run derbies than it is for a righty. I don't know why. Maybe I'm just superstitious.
I absolutely love that the kid from Seattle,
Julio Rodriguez. Yes, that was the other.
jumped in.
Big name.
It's gonna be fun. That's probably better than the All-Star game. Let's be honest. That's
I can't remember, probably since I was a kid and like Griffey Jr. and all those guys were doing it. A home run derby I was more excited for.
Mm-hmm.
I
like how it's been cool.
Well, you know what it is though too. Like you haven't really had a lot of Sox guys do it recently.
When Todd Frazier was in it, I was pretty hyped.
Because I was gonna say, like, I've been as a Cubs fan when, like, you know, there was the year that Rizzo and Schwarber did it, or Rizzo and Bryant.
Yeah.
You know, when KB had his dad out there, right? His dad was starting for him.
Yeah.
And then
Mike
Schwarber.
Mike almost died.
Yeah, he did not look great.
He looked like Pujols will probably look after his first round. This year.
But yeah, I think for the Derby, if you don't have the big names, if you don't have your guy, yeah, it is a little underwhelming.
You're watching Trey Mancini take batting practice.
Oh my god!
Trey Mancini and all, but it's not as exciting as watching Juan Soto.
This would be fun for Patrick Wisdom. I'm not gonna lie. This is what I want to see Patrick Wisdom in. Like this would be fun. Like I would love to watch that.
Yumper has a question. He said, "Does Rizzo make the All-Star team as a replacement?" Probably not, because Jose Abreu's better.
Sure. I mean, I honestly haven't seen the numbers. I don't put a lot of attention to the All-Star stuff.
I mean,
you want to bring the days off, so.
Oh, and I forgot Jose Ramirez joined the All-Star or the Home Run Derby too.
Oh, there you go. He hasn't hit one. He's only hit one like in the past month.
They said and switch hitters don't normally do too well in the Derby. I think the last switch hitter that did well in the Derby was like Lance Berkman.
Well, didn't what was his name from Philly? The Phillies, Bobby Abreu. Didn't he win it 1 year? No, he wasn't a switch hitter, was he?
No, I don't think he was a switch hitter.
No, I don't think so.
No, switch hitters stereotypically do not do well in home run derby. I mean, Jose Ramirez is a special breed of fucking baseball player.
Yeah.
So see winners. So Alonso, Harper, Judge, Stanton, Frazier, Cespedes, Prince Fielder, Cano, Ortiz, Fielder, Morneau, Guerrero.
A lot of lefties.
No switch hitters, though. No switch hitters.
A lot of lefties.
Yeah, a lot of lefties.
Well, I guess it's been the recent guys, right? Alonso,
Judge.
It depends on the park, though. And Dodger Stadium is one of those generic. It's even all the way across. Right field, left field, so it doesn't really.
Dodger Stadium to the right field corner
it has that little bend.
Tiny little fucking gate. Like it's specs. Hold on. Specs.
It's relatively symmetrical all the way around, though. Like it's not like a huge advantage.
It's just the short wall. But I think there's a short wall in left field too.
It's 330 to both. Yeah, it's 330 to both, and then the fence is only 4 feet high.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's that way, like all the way around. Because I know Walter O'Malley, like when he founded the team, he was like, "Oh, he's into symmetry. He wanted to be as symmetrical as possible when he built that stadium."
So you got 330 to left, 385 to the gaps. So the power alleys are 385, dead center 395, which is not super. I mean, that's
no.
And so from bullpen to bullpen, which is not the left field and the right field corner, right? Like I said, I was wrong. It's 4.5 feet, the fence, 55 inches high in the corners. And then when you go bullpen to bullpen, it's 8 feet high fence. So it's really, I mean, it's almost like a generic video game dimension right there.
Yeah, that's
low port.
Yeah.
In right and left field, though, can hit a pisser and think it's still clear the fence. That's the big part.
Pete Alonso, his swing is just built for this, though.
Yeah.
So Schwarber's, though. So is Schwarber's.
That's true. It should be. It's going to be a great derby.
I'm going to be pissed off if they're somehow on the same side of the bracket, like early on.
They should be
Yeah.
literally.
Yeah,
The
don't.
Like, what was, remember last year was stupid too? I forget who was like facing off
Vladdy.
in the round.
Wasn't it like Vladdy and someone else, and they had that like epic showdown?
Yeah, and it's like
And then it was in the
this
second
doesn't make
round, and then
Yeah.
yeah.
And yeah, because meanwhile, I'm sitting here. Otani's pumping 101 in the third inning after he just hit a fucking missile down the line too. Like,
Oh, that's what it was. By the way, Vlad hit 40 in the second round. Jock hit 39.
there
in
was
the second
it was
round.
Vladdy and Jock. Yeah,
Although Juan
Jock-
Soto and Alonso both hit 35 and 31 in the first round.
That's what it was. It was Soto versus Alonso in the first round. It's like, come on. What are you
Jock's
doing?
another guy who's got a great swing for a home run derby.
Yep.
I mean, you want guys that have like that short, compact, like just power swing.
God
And
Vlad Jr. hit 91 homers in 2019.
Lost.
Alonso in last year hit 74.
Yeah. No, I remember that Vladdy one. That was amazing.
That's just like everything. The next
All the
closest
swing offs kind of helped that though.
Yeah. Do you guys
That
like the
is
new
impressive
time
to the
format
left. Like that's
to
a-
how it used to be? Yeah,
is
right.
that,
Obviously
is
more
that the
home
for,
runs.
is do we know that's the format they're using this year?
The 4.5 minutes? I think so.
Who do you guys think, ranking wise, most teams that boast the most home run derby winners from the franchise? What do you guys think?
Yankees. Yankees?
Okay, Yankees are number one with 4, 1997, 2002, 2011, 2017.
Well, the Mets got to be up there because they got the last two.
Yeah, that puts them in. They're tied for second with a couple others.
Yeah,
The Cubs?
They got
Sosa
listed as
won one.
had a couple.
Cubs, 87, 90, and 2000.
There you
the
go.
Mariners.
Griffey, yeah.
Yep, Mariners, 94, 98, 99. There's two that are you might not. It actually kind of
Oakland.
Oakland. There you go. 92, 2013, 2014, and then there's one more. And this
Texas.
one,
Oh.
Texas, not a bad bet.
San Francisco.
St. Louis.
mm-mm.
Give us a lead.
It actually is a little shocking but now I know who it was in '89.
Who did it?
I'm just trying
They
to
were,
think of.
they were actually co-champions in 2000 or 1989 between Ruben Sierra from the Rangers and this player who was awesome. He actually swore at me when I was in high school.
Jose
And I
Canseco.
yelled at him.
Vegas, Oakland? No, wait, what he said Oakland.
Canseco.
No, but his teammate is the inspiration for my fantasy league team in our fantasy team.
Oh, man.
I forgot your team's name.
Chris Sabo's Rex Specs is my fantasy team.
Yeah. I see that name all the time, Kevin. I'm like, I have no idea who this is.
Cincinnati Reds, Eric Davis. In 1989, Eric Davis, the outfielder. But yeah, the Reds have
Oh,
one.
the Reds.
There
In
you go.
2015, who was it in 2015?
Todd Frazier.
Todd Frazier. Oh yeah, Frazier.
Yeah.
Okay. So, but that wins by team. That's the 3, and then you got Baltimore,
And
Phillies.
I
Rangers.
just wanted Todd. It was Todd Frazier from the fucking clouds. Like nobody thought
Yeah.
Todd Frazier was winning that home run.
Ultimate long shot bet right there.
Yeah,
Then he was runner up the next year too.
yeah. No, he showed up in home run derbies. That's for goddamn sure.
I mean, maybe Hawk was right along, better than Chris Bryant at home run derbies. That's what he was talking about.
Maybe
Not
that's what he was
wrong.
talking about.
Chris's swing's more exhausting in large quantities. I like Chris's swing like in controlled environments. I don't think home run derby plays well for Chris at all.
Now I just keep thinking about that homeboy from the Rangers. What that show he put on in New
Oh.
York.
That
Dude,
was
Josh
he was,
Hamilton, yeah.
he
that
was
was,
hitting the back scoreboard. Like
was
he was
20
almost putting them out of Yankee Stadium. He was just hitting fucking nukes, dude.
That was
guy fell off the face of the planet, though.
so. That was the year that I still have the text message somewhere. I swear to God, I screenshotted it where I was texting KB because he was still in high school, and I'm like, hey. Look, it's Josh Hamilton's American Legion baseball coach throwing the home run derby for him. He was the old guy, remember? He was old as hell. And I go, well, if you're in the home run derby one day, I guess I'll have to throw for you. He said, sure, coach. I'm like, yes.
And then he picked his dad.
And then he
Yes.
Suck it.
No, and I'm not a good. I honestly, I've grown to know that I'm not a home run derby pitcher. I have too much downward run, so I actually am a ground ball pitcher.
Kevin's out there throwing sinkers, like
I'm out there. I'm like, fucking, I dose him. Get off the plate. Stop.
Wait, Kevin, give us the inside scoop. So, what was KB's dad's reaction after the entire night? Did he feel bad, or was he just
I
like?
think he thought he was going to die. I'm pretty sure they had like EMTs on full alert. That's his. I'm sure because I mean, we know Mike's excitable, energetic dude. He's got a million words come out. I mean, he makes me feel like I talk like a sloth when we're hanging out because he's even more talkative. And Mike probably had nothing. He was like speechless.
Here, check this out. Hold on. I got to get it set up a little bit better.
I mean, he looked like that's as tired as I've ever seen Mike look. And I've seen him in 120 degrees after a doubleheader. So he looked dead. And that was like, that's exhausting, man.
For the couple of you that are still watching this show, just in case you were either not old enough or don't remember, this
Look at his old Legion coach, dude. He's old.
He hits this ball 502 feet.
Bink.
That's the last that hit off back here.
Carlos Zambrano.
Amazing.
But look at that old dude. This is the kicker. This old dude was fine. He threw the whole time for Josh Hamilton, and the dude had to be. I mean, go back. Look at the dude throwing real quick. If you can get it,
show the replay.
Please show it because when you see this dude,
502 feet, dude. This guy's a million years old.
Coach Council is old. Like it's his American Legion coach, and he's out there throwing just look how old he is. See, but good for him, man.
Some relation to Craig.
That's insane, dude. 502 feet hits the back wall in Yankee Stadium. That's insane.
Yeah, that's going to be Dodger Stadium. You can leave the yard there too. So there's going to be some balls that if you've ever done home run derby on like your video games, I've done it a few times where you're like, oh, and you hit a bomb because it has that weird like canopy that kind of has like they're all like triangles all around. But you can, I mean, probably my best experience at Dodger Stadium was actually when I went to go see the Cubs play, and I was there for the Joey Cora at bat where he fouled off.
I went 17 pitch at bat.
I went and got a snack. I got beer and a hot dog. Came back, he was still hitting, and then he hit the home run.
I've never been to Dodger Stadium. Is it as huge of a pain in the ass to get in and out of as people say it is?
Yeah,
it's not hard getting in. It's hard getting out. Getting in's not hard. You go to Philippe's, go get a
Ain't
French
that the truth?
And then leaving's just might as well just sit in your car and throw on. That's where the post game with what's his name is just hypnotic almost. Who broadcaster for the Dodgers?
Charlie Steiner,
Vince Scully. Like you could just sit in your car for 2 hours because you're not going anywhere. And just listen to Scully, and then I mean, it's a zoo.
Is that why people fight so much there?
Probably.
They're just like, oh, well, it's quicker to get out of here in a police car.
I mean, I saw Dodger fans boo like a 3-year-old girl that was wearing a Cubs jersey. So that was
there's a pretty good fight in the stands in the Bronx tonight.
Oh,
actual punches landed. Like this wasn't just two fat guys falling over chairs.
Wait,
this
is it Yankees fans fighting Yankee fans? Aren't they playing the Reds?
Ooh. It's two Yankees fans fighting each other, and that's a good pop, dude. Okay.
See if I can find it. Ooh. Oh yeah.
It's a good pop. Should I share my screen? You guys want to see it?
Let's see it.
Yeah.
He throws water at him. Someone did the water throw too.
Yeah,
like the corner man in like Rocky 3.
That initial though, that was a good pop.
He's doing the gorilla punch too. Now he's got a guy down. He's punching like he's like stamping envelopes or something.
Here we go. Watch. It's these two right here, but this guy on the right throws the first punch. Flips the hat. Chink.
Oh.
Chin checked him. He took it though and threw three of his own.
He took it.
He almost did like the hockey thing, like grabbed his jersey over his head and.
Yep.
Dude,
this guy's throwing hammer punches.
Here is my stamp.
Ground and pound.
That dude's like, I'm getting out of here.
This bro's like, fuck this.
Go back to him real quick and just
hold on. No. But I like the hat pop first, and then boom, chin check, and homeboy took it, and then he just fed him 2 biscuits and a pie piece. Woo!
Watch the guy coming out though. I like the wobble guy that comes out in the Yankees jersey. His face is all red.
I think he's the guy just eating these hammer punches.
Oh yeah, that's him.
No,
okay.
This guy gets up and he's just like, he's smart though. He's like, yeah, I'm not getting arrested.
I'm out of here.
And then homeboy here with the credit card clip on his phone, just taking that stellar video right there.
I want to see that guy's footage.
But I'll give this guy in the green jersey. He took a chin.
Yeah,
he just took it, and he's walking away, still talking shit. Security's escorting him out. The hat flip is classic, though. That hat flip was beautiful.
Is that Drake?
kind of a little drizzy. But that's a decent fight, decent scrap. Usually these baseball fights is two fat guys falling over seats,
Yeah.
but
I love those though.
that was a decent tilt.
Oh, Alex Cora. Yeah, I said Joey Cora earlier. Alex Cora on that longer bat. Thanks, Jump.
All right,
Yeah.
you guys got anything else here?
I just looking forward to next week. We're gonna have some really cool guests on next week to join us here. We've got a couple of personalities from both White Sox and Cubs farm system. So we're gonna have Greg Huss, who, if you know him, he's out of the vines. Greg, I believe he writes for Real Cubs Insider. He also has the Growing Cubs podcast.
Northside Bound.
Northside Bound, right? And then we're going to have Dan Victor, who also is a guy that actually was doing a lot of background research on Tanner before the draft. He's actually spoken with the McDougals quite a bit, but Dan does Daily White Sox. He's really well known. He knows a ton about the White Sox organization below the major league level. So we're going to have some really cool guests post-draft helping fill us in on where do these guys that have been taken in this new draft slot in after the draft to the White Sox and the Cubs organization. So I'm pretty pumped about that. Those guys they know their shit.
Fair enough. NASCAR Mitch, anything going on, bud?
I mean, I could give you the weekly NASCAR rundown, but I feel like no one wants to hear that. So
No,
we'll call it a day.
who were last week's winners?
It was
the ass clown
Chase
one.
Elliott, the guy that
Yeah.
I was talking shit about on the broadcast.
He heard you. He heard you, man.
Pinwheels
did.
bump,
He
dude. It trickles into NASCAR. Pinwheels
was-
bump.
Yeah, it was bogus. He robbed this guy, Corey LaJoy. He was on this like tiny little team. Like he's never won a race before. He's been in like the Cup Series for a while now, and he had a chance to win, and he got passed in the last lap. And it was very disheartening. But you know, what are you gonna do?
Although I was hot.
I know.
I
I
was
remember you
hot, dude. I was so
Hot.
mad.
burning up the.
There was some drama too.
Big drama.
Denny Hamlin, who owns a team with Michael Jordan, fun
Fucking
fact,
Danny.
but he drives for another team. It's weird because he owns a NASCAR team, but then he drives for Joe Gibbs, the former coach of the Washington Redskins.
That seemed-
His duality always bugs me.
There you go. But he got wrecked by this guy, Ross Chastain, who drives for Pitbull's team, the pop sensation. It's the second time this year he's gotten wrecked, so he's vowing revenge. So yeah, so there's a lot of
Fucking
tea going on in the
Dale.
NASCAR world. Yeah,
Dale.
there you
Oh
go.
my goodness.
Yo, I need MLB owners to be like just this random.
That would be
Like
dope, though.
enough with
It's wild. The star power is insane.
Mike Trout owns the Marlins, plays for the Angels. Like,
He's the general manager for the Diamondbacks. It's
Like
really
the closest thing is like Patrick Mahomes owns part of the Royals. That's like the only interesting.
Yeah.
that just goes to show how much money these owners actually have, that the best athletes alive are able to be like, maybe like, I get a 1% interest in this company.
yeah, people remember when people went nuts when Jay-Z bought part of the Brooklyn Nets?
Yeah.
He owned like half a percentage.
Yeah, it was like
of
one.
Brooklyn Nets.
Yeah, half a percent.
That's
It's
so much
funny
money.
too, like the way Michael Jordan and Denny Hamlin, like their team came to be, because like Michael, like he lives in Charlotte, Denny Hamlin, so obviously Michael Jordan's down there, and they were like friends. And someone wrote like a fake article, like, "Oh, Denny Hamlin and Michael Jordan started a NASCAR team." So Denny Hamlin sent it to him as a joke, and Michael Jordan's like, "Fuck it, like you want to do it?" And so they bought a NASCAR team after.
Yeah, Jordan reached into his couch cushions.
Yeah,
and was like,
Yeah, so I got spare
is this
change.
enough?
Like here's
Yeah.
a couple $100 million laying around. Is this good?
Yeah,
I
I
think
think
I
we
got it in my golf bag after last round
Yeah.
with Barkley.
And that was Talking NASCAR with NASCAR Mitch. I think
There you
that's a
go.
new closing segment on every show. I love it.
I hate that that's my name now, but you know what?
If you don't like it, if you generally
Hey,
don't
it is
like
what it is, man. Like you know,
It's too late now.
It's a weekly segment where we talk in circles. As
Yeah.
do
Yeah,
kids.
there we go.
Yeah. Ooh, hi-oh. Anything else?
Oh.
As we're over the 2-hour mark. We are
That is it. We're done bogging
We are-
the podcast now with NASCAR. These people, I
we
mean, no
are-
one's listening at this point, so you
we
know.
are dangerously close to 108 territory with the length of these podcasts lately. But it's just a lot of shit going on right now, which is great. It's better than COVID lockouts or whatever, and us talking about concession stand food or some shit like that. So
Definitely pay attention to our Twitters on draft day, though, because I'm sure we'll have some
Yeah.
discussions. That's going to be an issue. Just the first round.
Sacramento.
yep.
We
And
can-
here we go, White Sox. 4 games. These 4 games, I can't remember a time where 4 games in July determine the way that a season goes as much as this for the White Sox. Because, yeah,
On that note, too, the Cubs are only Oh no, thank goodness for the Nationals. Thank God for the Washington Nationals. God bless them. They're so bad that they are actually they are 5.5 games or 4.5 games back of even Cincinnati at this point. They've lost.
I'm gonna retweet it now. I'm not gonna share my screen again because this shit goes too slow. But so tonight in the game, the Indians do. Clase was pitching. Pollock fouls it off. It drills the Indians catcher or the Guardians catcher on the side of the face, and they're showing this guy on all fours, just like trying to figure out what world he's in right now. And in the background, there's this 3 like white dudes high-fiving, going crazy because they got the ball. It is probably one of the most. These guys look like the biggest assholes I've ever seen in my life. I just retweeted it. Oh my god! Yeah, definitely watch this video. I've never seen these guys look like such assholes. This is fantastic. This is glorious. Oh man,
Catcher is just like trying to.
And these guys with the big old beer bellies and like the overpriced polos.
He's jumping all over.
They're doing the catcher's sitting there trying to tell him that his mouth tastes like October. And these guys are sitting there high-fiving, going nuts. Oh my gosh, this is so bad. Holy shit.
Oh no.
Oh, that's so
Dude, the
bad.
high five, the putting the ball.
And then he's holding up the ball.
Yeah.
This is so bad.
This
Oh.
dude's acting like he caught like a walk-off home run in Game 7 of the World Series as like the starting catcher like is concussed.
Yeah, seriously.
DNA on the ball. It's like
They asked them how many fingers they had up, and the catcher said like November. And this guy's in the background slapping. Yeah, I paid $4,000 for these seats. That guy's dead, but I got a ball. Oh my god. Okay, we're ending on that note because it's not gonna get better than that. So, for NASCAR Mitch, Aldo, Fids, I'm Zoe. Thanks again to Tanner. Guys, go follow him. We'll tweet out his Twitter
McDougal
handle.
_Tanner.
Yeah,
MC.
we got to get those Twitter numbers up for my guy. We got to get him in the top hundo too, so he can get that blue check mark. But yeah, we'll see you guys next week. And as Fitz said, stay close to Twitter for all draft day hoopla.
Sunday.
Hoopla. Hoppa.